Okay. I'll make my video a little bit. People gonna hate. Shake it off. Shake it off.
Okay, that's enough. Let's go.
All right, sir. Here we go. All right, here we go, David.
This is Kelly Wentworth from Survivor San Juan del Sur, and you're about to listen to one of my favorite sources for all things Survivor. This is Survivor Talk with D&D. So find your flint, grab a bag of rice, and all your fishing gear, and let the bartering begin. Take it away, D&D.
Hello, welcome to the show. I'm Dwayne.
And I'm David.
And we're just two best friends talking about the show we love, Survivor. And tonight is our recap of episode 8, You Call, Will Haul.
Did you have any idea how that was going to come up? Because I had no clue.
I had no idea.
But I loved how it came up.
Yeah, I was happy with the way it came up.
I bet you were.
That's right. We have a lot to cover tonight, so hold on tight. We have a new segment called Pondering Ponderosa. Not just Pondering Ponderosa, but Pondering Ponderosa.
Thanks to Cass, our host for the season.
Yes. Yes. We've also got recap. We're going to do your feedback. We have 10 feedback tonight. iTunes reviews, Miko's challenge, and D&D fantasy points, which don't make a lick of sense.
Just looking at those totals reminds me of how much Steve Helling was irked every time a nerd herder got a confessional last night.
Yes. By the way, David,
4 out of every 5.
You are going to sound amazing on the episode this time because you're like 4 inches from your mic, which is going to be wonderful. And I'm not being sarcastic. I'm being serious.
Well, I'm trying a different setup this time, so I'm sorry you can see the mic.
I like it.
So it doesn't blank me.
Who cares if you can see the mic?
Like it, that's all I care about.
I don't care if you can see the mic. I like that. It just shows what we're using their Patreon and Amazon money for. Actual good equipment. So, all right, let's get started. It's time to recap. We're going to start with the initial thoughts. So, David, I want to go ahead and let's get some of the not so in-depth initial thoughts out of the way. So I have my first initial thought. It is Kelly Wentworth. That's it. Just
You're not going to play the soundtrack from the video that you made?
Just her name. Do you have an initial thought? I have 2 more. One of them is going to be in-depth.
I have 5.
Holy craboly. Go ahead.
They're very short. I did my best to do short this time. I even edited them down.
David's initial thoughts has become David's blog.
A segment in its own. That's right. That's right.
I mean, why don't you just start writing a blog, David?
No, I'll try that. My first thought was of, just from the greatness of the episode, Dwayne was right. I don't know how. I don't know why. But Dwayne was right.
Yeah, you and me are not the only ones that are surprised I was right. Well, it took 8 times for me to be right. Have you been right yet? You have
twice.
Been.
I was right with Monica and Cass, but
okay.
I mean, to me, Fishback wasn't even close this week.
Yeah.
So
and if you don't know what we're talking about, I do a weekly Dwayne's driving prediction, and for the episode, and I posted it in our Facebook group and on our YouTube page, and then David always responds in our Facebook group. We don't put it on YouTube, so another reason to join the Facebook group. But I picked Savage, and the reason why was I had no idea it was going to be because Kelly and the girls took him out. Well, I guess I did, but I didn't know it was going to be because Kelly played an idol. I just thought if they're going to go for a big guy, Jeremy's not going to be the one going home. Joe's not going to be the one going home because he's close with Kelly, and Sierra doesn't like Savage at all. So of all the big guys going home, I figured it'd probably be Savage.
That makes sense.
And it worked out for me.
Mm-hmm.
Next week, I'm picking Probst, so I'll be wrong again.
I'm all over the place next week. I got a few days to zero it down, but man, I'm lost next week.
All right. So what's your next?
My second one was, where was the perfectly played best possible opportunity split vote? Hello.
Yeah.
No split vote. They dropped the ball on that one.
Yeah. Well, we'll find out later why.
Yeah.
And that's really revealed in the extra scenes on CBS YouTube site.
Yeah, and Savage also gave an answer to Dalton. He asked the same question in his little 9-minute interview.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
The only one I read was Stephen Fishback's. Surprise,
Okay.
surprise to some of y'all who
Hey.
think negative thoughts about that. I love Fishback.
I love him this season.
Oh, man.
I don't remember how I felt about him in Tocantins because JT was such a nice guy. I like Taj well, and Fishback to me was the brains, but I didn't get as much out of it. But this season, I love his emotional side. I love his passion for it. And it's awesome.
But hey, I'm the first to admit I was so wrong. You know, beginning of the season, Fishback isn't going to last. He's the know-it-all, and they're going to know that, and they're going to want him gone. And I mean, I keep giving him props on the Twitter because he deserves it.
He's still there.
He might have gotten Joe gone. He might have gotten him gone if Joe hadn't won.
Yeah.
Might have worked.
All right, so that's two of mine. What's your second one?
If Spencer falling in the water is a disaster, then what would the entire boat tipping over be? Like fatal disaster? I mean, you know, Spencer like trips out of the boat, gets back up in like 3 seconds, and Probst calls it a disaster. I thought that was kind of funny.
Oh, well, let me give my third one then.
Okay.
It's ironic that I stopped at that point to get yours. My number 3 is I loved both challenges, but I really don't care anymore what season these challenges are from. I'm over that. Oh my gosh. And I missed the day when Jeff Probst spoke less at challenges.
Yeah.
And that goes along with what you just said. During the reward challenge, I would have loved to have heard the 2 microphones that were near the boats. That's what I wanted to hear. I could care less about Spencer falling out. I can see. I mean, was this an edit for those that can't see very well?
Right.
I mean, come on. We don't need all that stuff. Don't even get me started on the immunity challenge and the comments during the immunity challenge. Oh my gosh. Please. But I'm just so over. I mean, the challenges are what they are, but I'm so tired of, Kelly lost at this challenge because Jervis couldn't swim, but he won. And I'm like, who cares?
It wasn't even that challenge. It was like the first time we used paddles in a challenge. I was like, really? The first time we used paddles. By the way, check out my shirt, man. Isn't that red? I love it. All right, go ahead.
Nice. But just name the challenge from the season. I don't care. Just leave it at that. San Juan del Sur, episode 6, challenge 2. That's all. That's all I care about.
Well, I don't really mind. Like on the immunity challenge, I liked it that it was okay. Jeremy was first off. Keith won. I thought that was kind of cool. But the paddle thing I thought was a little ridiculous because it wasn't the actual challenge. But hey, that's all right. You're tired of it. That's good. What's your other ones? While I open up my V8 Fusion energy drink.
Yes. Number 4, in Survivor, when it looks simple enough to stay the course, be ready for the imperfect storm. Because
nicely written.
It's never. I know. Actually, I should almost blog that, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
It's never settled. I love it. Woo comes in, says it's calm. Let's do the right thing. Savage says it's set. Let's do the right thing. No, not in Survivor. Not playing against seasoned players.
No.
So,
all right, go ahead and give your 5th one.
My last one is I think losing Savage will be huge for Jeremy. He will really need to be on guard going forward. I think this is really going to shake up his season. And I even made a little graph. I'm not good at those graphs. I'm not an art person. I'm not Drew, and I'm not Steve, our friends, and Alina. I'm just somebody that puts pictures on a piece of paper. And Dwayne has to say, just crop it here. Just take this and put it on the Facebook page. So I just put it on the Facebook page a couple hours ago, and I put where do we go from here? And it's just a little chart that shows Jeremy's alliance and what I think is Joe's broke 2 alliances. Yeah. And then it's got Wigglesworth down at the bottom, and we'll talk about Wigglesworth later. We get to talk about Wigglesworth, but she's down at the bottom in the middle for a reason, and we'll talk about that later.
David, you're my best friend in all the world, right?
Yes.
And I love you, and I think you're a great guy.
No, you're breaking up with me?
I have no idea what your chart means.
Good. We'll talk about it.
I looked at your chart and I went, what?
Yes, I saw that. Expand, please. And you
David ran
in all capital letters, and then you had to apologize for yelling at me.
No, it was I didn't realize all caps were on. All right, here's my actually my first initial thought. Is it the best idol play ever, or is it recency bias? Okay, and so we've got some pretty good idol plays. I think we need time away for us to really evaluate this idol play. Right now, best idol play in the history of Survivor, because it just made me jump out of my chair and scream and record myself. Right. But will it be that way in 3 months, over Christmas?
That's a great question.
Because you got Russell plays it on Poverty and Heroes and Villains, Blindsides Tyson. Right. You got a couple others.
Yeah.
Amanda blindsides Alexis. In fact, I watched that one today, and this is Alexis the whole time. The stunned look on her face.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say there's also a little Kelly bias because we love Kelly. She's super nice to us, and we think she's so much better than she was in San Juan del Sur. But I think what made this so good was it was at the end of an incredible episode.
Oh, yeah.
When I went back and watched it today, I didn't get to watch it till tonight. It was so good.
Oh,
so much drama and strategy back and forth. Just a fantastic episode, and then a massive blindside. Yeah. All the facial expressions. Gracie and I went back and watched Jeremy 5 times, 4 or 5 times, just to see Jeremy's face. It was so good.
Right. Oh man, everybody. and well, you know what? We'll talk about it when we get there, because I got some
2 hours from now. We'll talk about it. Okay.
Yeah, this is gonna be a good little podcast. Now's a good time to start that lawnmower, to mulch your grass, or rake your leaves, or start that long trip from DC to California.
That's right.
All right, day 20. Unless you got previously on stuff.
I did watch it, and just that it showed Kelly's idol again, and then she said, "Go big or go home," and I thought, might we see something from the idol? I was hoping not, but we might. Yeah. I'm so over Spencer still making relationships. I mean, that had not much to do with this episode, and then Steven crying over his obsession to get rid of Joe, which had a big part to do in this episode. So yeah.
Steven really has an obsession with Joe.
Wow, it's like a blinders. It's like Moby Dick and Ahab. It's really
absolutely right in his
analogy.
Well, actually, if that plays out, then actually, I've never read the book Moby Dick, and I haven't
either
the movie yet either. So
I haven't either. Funny?
I actually don't have any idea what happens at the end of Moby Dick. I have no idea.
Well, I don't want to spoil it. What I think happens, because I haven't read it either, and I haven't seen the movie.
I think the captain dies, but I don't know.
Well, I don't know if somebody's going to tell us in the chat room, I'm sure, but
we'll spoil the movie for everybody.
I think the fish survives. But anyway, it's funny that Stephen Fishback is calling him the fish.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. By the way, if you get on our Facebook group or wherever and go, y'all don't spoil the movie Moby Dick, I'm going to be like, you know what? It's like Titanic. If you don't know how it ends, you should know how it ends.
The book's been out for 100 years.
But I'll know how it ends before I watch the movie, or I make it spoil.
The chat room chimed in. A great idol play, no way the best ever. That was Mike K. And J to the K said, not best idol play ever. It's great, but no way the best. And it really depends on what happens next. If Wentworth, Sierra, and Abby go next, it didn't matter. And that's a fair point. How it affects the rest of the game.
True. That's why I said there's recency bias.
And I like what you said. Let's wait and see what happens, and we'll measure it.
All right, it's early morning. We've got Savage and Jeremy talking before everyone else gets up. It's interesting that they didn't show us the night.
Oh yeah, right after. Yeah. Well, I mean, everybody knew it was going to happen. It's obvious because Kelly voted Sierra threw her vote at Savage. It was kind of obvious what was going to happen. So I don't know if there's much debate or much to talk about.
What was obvious it was going to happen? It was a total blindside.
That cast was going home. No, that cast was going home.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Talk about the first night. Let's start at the beginning of. Don't talk about next week. Just because we've seen next week, let's don't talk about next week.
Wow,
I can't wait for next week's night after.
I had a moment.
I like in the first scene. I wrote sleeping survivors, except for Steven and Kelly and Savage and Jeremy. 4 major players. The only one missing was Joe, but everybody else was probably either sleeping or laying down, and these 4 had their eyes open. Kelly had her eyes open looking up. Steven was in the hammock with his eyes open looking sideways, and then Jeremy and Savage were talking off to the side.
Yeah. Steven actually was just stuck. He couldn't get his face out of the hole. What they didn't show us is him going, I need some help. All right. Savage tells Jeremy, actually, I don't know if he tells Jeremy or if he just said this in a confessional. My job is to pick off the Sierras, the Abbeys, the Wentworths. And trick is to figure out who they're trying to get and offset it. And I thought, oh, dude. Second time I watched it, I thought, you're dead. You don't know it.
Yeah, he's laying out his doom. And he even says it was a brilliant plan executed to perfection.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so why didn't you do it again? If the recipe works once, you make it the same way twice. And then he says, what I think is really interesting about this season is, let's go back to old school, play old school and knock off these 3 girls. Why not take the easy 3 votes, like you just said, and take out these 3 girls? But that's not how Survivor works in season 31. You've got to make plays when you got to make plays, and you got to watch out for these different things. So to me, that was kind of setting up something wrong for him or Jeremy.
Yeah.
Just a lot of things are going too well.
Yeah. And then we just get a little more setup. Sierra and Fishback talking. Fishback seeing some common ground with Sierra. They both want Joe gone. So do you have anything else about that before we move on to the reward challenge?
No, she was saying the right things that he wanted to hear. She was laying out all the breadcrumbs, trying to draw him in. And she wasn't waking him up, but she was getting him excited about somebody else having the same idea that he had. And he said he doesn't want to be run over by a bunch of bros. I'm like, dude, bros aren't the only people that win.
Yeah.
At the same time, you got to worry about for this little girl that keeps playing. Dude, I was already a fan of Sierra. I liked her in the first season of Blood versus Water, but early as the season goes, I'm just falling in love with how she plays. So much better and so much in your face, especially when she's down. She's just going to be in your face. She's going to dare you to vote her out until you have to, but otherwise she's going to make as much trouble as possible. She did so many things right. She played up to Steven and left the opportunities there and left it at there, and then completely changed later on with the reward. So that's all I got there.
I'm going to predict a final 3 right now at minute 19 or wherever we are in the podcast. I believe the final 3 is Kelly Wentworth, Joe, and Abby. Kelly Wentworth, Joe, and Abby. That's what I think.
Well, I'm going to go on record and not make any final 3 predictions right now.
Okay. Well, I figured I'm on a roll.
Did we make one for Andy's league? I don't remember if we did or not.
I don't remember. All right, let's do the reward challenge.
What did you think of this? I gave it an A-. I love this challenge. It's a full-on tribe challenge, and the puzzle was full-on tribe participation.
Yeah, it was everybody was involved the whole time. Yes.
I got to tell you, I probably wrote more notes for this challenge than I have for any challenge, and I apologize now that I'm probably going to talk more about this. And I know we don't want, because we got 10 feedback waiting for us, and we're going to go for 3 hours.
This is what I wrote. After the challenge gets started, this is what I wrote. Pretty even until the boxes and Team Joe wins. That's pretty much what I wrote.
Oh, wow. I got half a page, but it's large print. All right. It's large print.
So, well, hold on, then. Let me get my little bit in then. The winning 6 gets to go to Survivor Cafe, which is always a fun thing, right? Mm-hmm. It's a paddle challenge. The first one ever was season 1. The first time we ever used water in a challenge was season 1. Anyway, and they did a schoolyard pick, which interesting teams.
Yes.
And the only other thing I'm going to say is it looked to me like the Team Joe was going to go around a box until Probe started yelling at him to go straight. Okay, that's all I got. Go ahead, David.
I love watching Joe play Survivor.
Oh,
I don't think he's had the chance to show off his strategic chops yet, but he was built for challenges and built for the social game.
Wait, David. Well, I can't just let you let that slide by. He hasn't had a chance. We're talking about Joe here. I know his mom likes the show, so sorry, Mickey, but Joe hasn't had a chance to show his strategy chops. Is that what you said?
Strategic chops, yes.
Strategic
what has he done
chops.
strategy-wise that makes him a dominant player?
He hasn't. That's the whole point. And the last season he played, he didn't either. But I'm sorry, the way you said it made me feel like you were saying that he has them. He just hasn't had a chance to show them. But you're saying he doesn't have them.
No. I'm saying he hasn't had a chance to show that he can play the strategy game yet.
Well, what about last season he played?
He got voted out as soon as he lost. He didn't have any strong groups or alliances other than Mike.
Okay.
I don't think he's shown yet that he can run a game to the end on strategy. His dominance is in challenges.
Right.
So, and I enjoy watching him play challenges because I like his attitude. I like his hustle. And I love the way when Probst was calling out the names, he pats everybody on the backside to get them pumped up to do that challenge. I thought that was hilarious. I was waiting for Fishback to notice. I'm like, go ahead, Fishback, do the same thing.
Yeah.
See if Abby doesn't turn around and slap you when you try to pat her on the back.
Yeah.
So, because he's so focused on Joe, I presume he was watching. I'm like, go ahead, Fishback, pat him all on the back. See if they'll
be like, I didn't think you want me to pat you on the skin, so I patted you on your bathing suit. Slaps him.
I love that Wigglesworth was the voice. Remember we talked about in Maine when we played in Durham. Joel talked about when we did a big group challenge. He said we need one loud voice and everybody else follow. Mm-hmm. Wigglesworth was clearly the voice of her boat. Got him back in line. Got him back on track, and they came up. What I found interesting was, and I wrote this because I went back and watched it, and I really just enjoyed this whole episode. But when Joe got in the water for the last box, he was touching the ground, touching the bottom of the ocean. And he said, hey, when I get this box in the boat, we push because Probst says, once you're touching the floor, you can get out and push. When Spencer got out to do the last box, he was touching the ground. You could tell because he was standing up. But when he pushed his box back in, he had to get back in the boat before they could start pushing. So evidently that boat must have drifted even more and pushed him further out, or the box pushed him further out. And I'm like, man, that's a disadvantage. That's more time where he had to get back in the boat and paddle back in before they could jump out again.
Right.
So just a good job on Joe's team for doing that. But that was it. Let's see. And then Stephen rightfully worried at the end, that Joe was going to start bonding with everybody on the other side.
Oh, yeah. Wow. You got through those half page pretty quickly.
I paraphrased.
Yeah. So Team Joe wins. You know, I was trying to think, what is the strategy on that puzzle? I mean, is there a shortcut to winning that puzzle? But I'm not a puzzler, so I don't know. But I wonder.
I think the strategy to that puzzle is to have two people moving the boxes and everybody else constantly looking at the four sides.
I guess I'm just wondering, like, if one box has two of the same. Well, okay, they're all going to have at least two of one color.
And isn't there a color on top too? So it's not just spinning it around. You might.
It's all six sides have a color on them.
So exactly. So it's not just stacking them and turning them. You got to actually look.
Okay. All right. So we'll see later that Fishback takes this loss pretty badly.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, as much as I'm enjoying watching him play, I think he handled it poorly at the camp, which we'll talk about in just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So can we go to the reward?
This is why I love post-merge reward group challenges, because so much can happen at a reward. And not just the Keith part.
So Sierra's working the strategy, and she makes a good point. Jeremy, Tasha, Steven, and Savage are unbreakable. They're not gonna, which really Jeremy and Tasha are unbreakable for sure. At least based on what I'm seeing. And then Jeremy's also got Steven. Savage is just kind of there.
And this is what I loved about Sierra's game in this episode. She's having a totally different conversation with different people.
Exactly.
This is like option B. She had one conversation with Steven, and now she's talking to the guy that her and Steven talked about getting out, about getting other people out. That is awesome. I love that.
Well, yeah, she's on the bottom, and she's doing her darndest best to not stay on the bottom,
Right.
And she's complaining when nobody's joining her. That's fine, but that's what's happening. Meanwhile, Keith only has eyes for the motorcycle. Keith looks totally disinterested.
He does.
Until the motorcycle comes up.
I wrote that Joe admits that she's right, and then I wrote as Keith makes an effort to pay attention.
Yes.
But is distracted by the bikes.
Yeah. Keith's thinking, as soon as I get this peach thing out of my teeth, I'm gonna go hit that motorcycle. I used to own a 70.
I thought they were bikes for some reason. I didn't even think about them being mopeds or motorcycles, but
Yeah.
it's so funny. The look on Keith's face was like the cameraman said, "Hey, Keith, they're talking about strategy here. Okay. Can I get on one of them bikes?"
Yeah. Them bikes look really fun. I think I might be in gear. I'm gonna start it and see what happens. Anyway,
that was great. And I'm talking to the SCA 9000 when I say this, but if anybody has Keith as their winner pick, it's not too late to change your pick. And no offense to Keith, I love Keith, but I don't know if that's a winner's edit going after the bike.
Well, he did get the title. You call, we'll haul.
He did. That was awesome. I need passengers.
That's right. All right, you want to go back to camp?
Sure.
All right, fishback is really low, and of course, Abby is all the ever encourager. Get over it. And then she said something else. I'm trying to remember what else she said. She goes, "Oh, party pooper," or something like that. You know.
This is why I'm wearing the Brazil hat tonight in honor of Abby and her quick reacts.
Oh, I loved it.
Comebacks. They were great tonight.
So I would be thinking, okay, if I'm out there and I'm in the shelter and Steven is lamenting his situation, I'd be thinking, but we're all here. You could be bonding with us. So what you're really saying is that you're bummed that you don't get to bond with them.
Absolutely great point.
That's what I would be thinking. Why are you bummed about that? We're bonding, or we could be.
I like what Spencer said. It's just food. It's going to go away after a while. But it's almost like he was saying, but we're here with you. You're not here by yourself. He makes a good point that the people he needs to make a big move are over there bonding with Joe. And in the midst of it, Jeremy spoke up and said, you think they're bonding over there? As in, like, you think that group's going to bond? But I don't know if we heard a reaction or response to that. It just moved on with the conversation. Yeah. But yeah, that's a great point. As in, like, why can't we bond? You know, we're a tight group.
Yeah. Why are you so bummed? You're not bummed.
We pick up?
Go ahead.
Oh, let's pick up Abby. She's right here. Let's feed her wine and cherries and grapes, and we'll pick her up into our group.
That's right. Why are you so bummed? You're not even bummed that you didn't win the reward. You're bummed that you're not with them.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's not that you wish we had won the reward. You'd still be bummed because they'd be back at camp bonding over not being at the reward. So
it just seems more Joe focused. I hate to say that, but man,
it is Joe focused.
I know Joe. Yeah. The guy he wants to get out is over there bonding with the people he wanted, which brings up an interesting point. He wanted the girls to help him vote out Joe. So does that mean he couldn't get Jeremy's group to vote out Joe? Well, was he going to make a big move? I mean, why would he have to go to them? Because he knows that the group he's in is not going to vote out one of their own.
Yeah.
So that was the opportunity of a big move, but it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah. We see him pushing for Joe with Jeremy, and then with Spencer, and then with Tasha, and Savage hears. Mm-hmm. Savage is all about that Joe, no fishback. He's all about that Joe, no fishback. That's Savage for you, man. I got to save Joe. Fishback is evil.
See, it's not us. What else called? Where's the parody? That would have been a good parody. I wrote down along with that where he's talking to Spencer. He said, if Joe loses, I can get the votes to blindside him. I wrote, what votes is he talking about? Because it ain't Jeremy and Savage that are going to vote for Joe. So that tells Spencer that Steven feels confident that he can work the other side. So, and in fact, that's the line that got me in trouble in Maine when I said, I can get votes outside this group to help us out.
Yeah. Dr. Jill got lots of connections.
Dr. Jill said, no, you can't. Yeah, really?
I've got
a whole
lots
tribe
of
over there waiting.
Idiot. So the next day, Savage is laying in his hammock and, hey, Joe, can we talk? Steven is diabolical. All right, David, I looked up diabolical. All right.
Uh-oh.
Belonging to or so evil as to recall the devil. So the fact that Fishback wants to get Joe out means he belongs to the devil, according to Savage. I mean, come on, it's not diabolical. The guy's just playing the game.
Or I guess the root word is Diablo. So I guess that would make sense that it goes to that.
Yeah.
Right? And is it not spelled that way?
It's okay. Let's just move on. No, I mean, yeah, it's diabolical. Diabolical. Anyway, my point was several times, anytime anybody else plays any kind of strategy that's against Savage, it's evil, diabolical, he's horrible, he's, they're horrible liars. So
because it's not old school, but if you think about it, it is old school because that's what people did back then. So I don't know what the difference is now and then.
Now, but do you think? Oh, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say, Joe, I was surprised that Joe said he didn't expect to be singled out this soon, to be targeted this soon.
Yeah, me too.
Really? You were targeted from? I think Steven had eyes on you at the Worlds Apart reunion. Mm-hmm. He already knew that you were going to have to go. So.
It's that strategical side, David.
Yes. Exactly. The choppy side.
I'm thinking if I'm ever in a situation like this, if I ever play Durham Warriors Survival Challenge, I will never say on my kid's life, I will never vote for you. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah,
I'm not going to do that. To me, it's just like, because if I say on my kid's life, I'm not going to vote for you, then I'm not going to vote for you. Well, what if I need to vote for him later? So, I'm just not going to, it's going to be like, you know what? I don't have to swear on my kids' lives. And if that's not good enough for you, then I'm sorry.
It's one of those things where if you don't take me for my word, you're not going to believe me at all. So I'm not going to go to the depths of swearing. I'm just going to give you my word, and you just have to trust me on that.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess people just use it to like prove how sincere they are. But then Savage goes off and goes, however, if I need to get him off, then I'll get him off. So
yeah.
Anyway, all right. Must be what, David?
It's the ultimate swearing on your family or your kids. The unbreakable bond in Harry Potter. This must be the Survivor ultimate to swear on your family.
Yes.
I don't know.
The unbreakable bond. All right. Oh, by the way, I saw the new Spectre movie. Have you seen it yet?
Did you?
Yes.
I finally got around to see Jurassic World, but
no. That's good too. Jurassic World is good, and
Jurassic World,
new what? And the new Terminator movie came out on DVD, Blu-ray today.
Yes,
and iTunes
I haven't seen
stuff. I need to get that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Immunity Challenge. A little bit of movie talk with D&D there in the middle. Anyway, you need to go see Spectre. It's really good.
I plan on it.
Okay. It's a muddy day at the Immunity Challenge. Little puddles for the cameramen to play with. For their shoes to squish in. So
I was thinking, as quickly as some of these folks went out of this game, the people that built this challenge were going, you know what? We spent half a day in the mud putting this challenge together for you people, especially you blonde-headed people, to go out in less than 1.2 seconds.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You've got Wentworth, Sierra, and then Wigglesworth and Jeremy right off the bat. Just gone. And then it gets down to Keith and Joe, and of course Joe wins. Anything else? I mean, is there really, other than we know Dalton Ross in his recap is bound to have a lot of fun with all of Probst's comments?
Yeah, that's the part that drove me nuts. I would have just Survivor has some of the best music. Oh, that wasn't even fair. Survivor has some of the best background music. That's all we needed. We didn't need the extra dialogue. Sorry, that just came out.
All right, so let's go get Steven, is what Joe says after he wins.
Yeah. High fives for everybody. And so frustrating for Steven. He's been gunning for Joe since Worlds Apart. And this is where we get the Moby Dick to Ahab reference.
Yep. All right, back at camp. Joe, this is great. Joe to Keith, you killed it. Keith, I didn't kill it enough. That was great. Oh, man. All right. So what do you want to talk about about this? And I'll just let you lead this because I got some things, but we'll see what you say.
It's well, I wrote that Joe asked Savage. Are we at that part? Joe asked Savage, what's the deal?
Savage and Joe are talking about Fishback.
And he says Steven has to go, and they're good with that. I wrote that it was ironic that earlier Steven said to Jeremy, let's don't waste our energy right now taking out 3 easy boots. Let's go after the hard boots. And I like that strategy. We've still got some energy. We're still partway through the game. Let's don't waste these next 9 days or 8 days on 3 people we can get out at any time. Let's make the big moves. And Jeremy said no eventually.
Right.
But
well, it's interesting because Joe goes to the girls and Savage is like, oh, yeah, I'll just take care of Jeremy and them. Joe succeeded. Savage not so much.
But it's Savage now who agrees and wants to also not go after the girls, but go after Steven, who's the guy that also didn't want to go after the girls. He wanted to go after Joe.
Right.
So now it's back at Steven. But you're right. When Savage gets in his little hammock, he's got his people around him, and he wants to do all that. He's going to take care of it. He's going to tell him what he's thinking.
Yep.
And just get shut down.
You know what this shows?
But what?
He and Joe, they are at the bottom of this alliance, buddy. They are.
Yep.
Who are the ones who are making the decisions? Ultimately, Jeremy and Tasha. They're the ones making the decisions.
Yep. I wrote it was an easy decision for Joe. He had to go to the girls to get this done. He had to reach outside that, which feeds into my chart that I put on our Facebook page that Joe is keeping his channels to the girls open. Joe has a channel to Jeremy. He also, we saw last week, has a channel to Spencer and Keith. And at the same time, Joe has a channel to Kelly.
Right.
Because
he and Kelly have been talking.
Jeremy told us that the reason they singled out Wentworth was because she is Joe's lieutenant. I've never heard that before. And Jeremy says that in a secret scene. I didn't get to see all of them, so I hope you did, but I saw 1 or 2. But so I put Kelly right underneath Joe to the side. So that's a relationship. And now Kelly is tied to Sierra and Abby.
Right.
So Joe's got different avenues, different paths. He can talk to Jeremy. And of course, Jeremy's got Tasha, Steven, and then Kimmy on his side.
Right.
And then, but it's still in the middle because I'm not sure Keith and Spencer were going to go with the cast vote last week unless Joe decided or they decided as a group to go that way. Because I still feel like they're not locked in. And then Joe's got this avenue to the 3 ladies. And the reason I put Wigglesworth at the bottom, kind of in the middle, because who is Joe talking to at the beach? He's not talking to Kelly and Sierra. He's talking to Kelly and Kelly. Kelly Wigglesworth is sitting in on this beach conversation. I thought that was awesome. And that just shows that she's floating to the numbers. She's looking for the right opportunity. She's measuring her chances. She's finding the right spot to fit in. And dare I say, that's a smart strategy. Sorry, I went on too long. I know you're putting you to sleep over there.
No, that was good stuff. But it's interesting because you can look at how all these different connections are, just like you were talking about. And it's, I mean, how did Wentworth know she was going? Well, because Joe told her that she was going. Joe didn't have a choice. So he's went ahead and told her, look, you're going. In fact, Fishback even said, she knew she was going. So why was she getting all the rice out of the rice bucket and filtering it all out? That's a 2-hour job. And this was in his article, and Jeremy later on in his secret scene was like, she played it up. Let's see. No, he said, that she's been sitting around camp, 3 just days. Kind of, like I know I'm going. Way to go, Kelly. She messed everybody's brains up.
It's funny because Fishback makes a good point about when you see these little signs, they need to go off in your head with red flags.
Yes.
Because Monica said the same thing about Wigglesworth. Monica said she didn't bring her stuff to tribal. That should have been a sign that she wasn't going home or that she knew something was up. And instead, Monica got blindsided.
Yeah.
But let's see. Hold on. Just see. Yada yada. But anyway, yeah. So we covered the beach part, and then Sasha and Wigglesworth is there too. When Savage talks to Sasha and Jeremy, like we just talked about.
Oh yeah,
she's sitting right there. She's everywhere. Where's this person? She's everywhere. Where all the conversations are going, which also shows
It's a really good strategy, Kelly Wigglesworth.
Oh, it's awesome. It also shows, Smarty, that she has respect. People are talking about these things in front of her.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she just heard Joe talk to Kelly about blindsiding Steven, and now she's listening to Savage and Jeremy debate, Steven or one of the girls.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, how many times do you see people in multiple conversations like that at this late in the game? That's pretty big to be in both conversations. And then
All right.
Savage. Oh, sorry, I was going to say Savage says that Jeremy makes good points about the girls, not to make waves yet with Steven. So we go after the girls, and then Tasha fills in Joe. That is back on one of the girls.
Right. Savage is like, well, I tried to make things happen, and I'm used to getting my way. I guess I'll just kind of do what they said.
Was that a resignation to the fact, or was that just, we're fine, we got the numbers, we'll just go along with
I think he was still kind of in oblivion land. I'm still in control.
I know.
Yeah, I'm still part of being a good leader is allowing them to make the decision, and when in reality, part of being a good leader is getting them to make the decision that you want them to make.
That's right.
Anyway, by the way, I love the Abby edit we've been getting because it's showing us that Abby isn't being the little pester around camp, causing lots of little problems. She is getting under the radar and chilling out with Sierra and Kelly, and I'm liking it. Way to go, Abby. She's also on my team.
Do you think she's figured something out, or do you think there's so many other alphas out there that she realizes I don't need to? We've got food, everybody's taking care of the fire. I don't need to step out and say anything. I think being on the bottom has actually saved her to a degree. She's not getting too involved in conversations. Well, she's not even in the big alliance,
and she doesn't have any enemies. I mean, once Wu was gone, it was like Abby's like, okay, I'm cool. Y'all just feed me rice. Let me go swimming in my leopard skin.
Exactly.
So
I got that Joe goes and fills in Sierra on the vote, and who's standing there? Wigglesworth. I love what they say, because Joe realizes that when it goes back to the girls, Fishback has more ties to the group than he originally thought.
Yes. Right.
And he fills in Sierra, and even Wigglesworth chimes in that Steven has ties deep in this alliance, because Savage was good with Steven going, but Steven got saved. So Steven's got ties deep in this group, which is going to put a target on either him or Jeremy. And this is where my last initial thought came into with the vote that's going to happen. Instead of this big group of 9 strong, now there's a chance that some of these will branch off, because you saw Wigglesworth so involved with other conversations. Joe was in these other conversations. I think Joe went to Kelly. I don't know if it's because of they're close or whatever, to tell her, it's one of those things that, some people say, if I'm going, just tell me. I don't want to be blindsided, and she may have played that on him. He may have also been playing up to a future jurist, when hoping he'd make the final.
Okay, so I'm going to say that this is why Joe needs to go over with the girls and get Wigglesworth over there with him, because whenever you're the one that is promoting Fishback and it gets shot down in that group, that means you're lower in that group, and you're not the one making the decisions at all. So I'd be like, okay, you know what? I'm going to go over with this group where maybe I can be in control, or at least better than I am now, at least helping make decisions. And let's get out those power players. Right. Joe needs to go over with the 3 girls, and he needs to pull over Wigglesworth with them, and Spencer. He needs to pull over Spencer too, if he can get them.
Well, I think lightning is going to strike, but I'm going to completely agree with you, because not only, I mean, I think the meat shield strategy for Joe should be the opposite. Get rid of his competition. Why? Everybody knows you're a challenge threat. Why keep those people around? Get rid of the people that can beat you in challenges and run the board on challenges. Yeah. But in the meantime, save those 3 girls. You'll have a new tight alliance. Bring over Wigglesworth, because she's obviously keeping her options open. You've got a whole new power group, and Joe's at the top of it. And who's going to beat Joe in challenges if Savage is gone, and Tasha's gone? We didn't hear a lot from Tasha this week, except for passing information, which tells me she was good to go with whatever decision they made. Not really in the decision, like you said. It was Savage and Jeremy making those decisions. But I think Jeremy wanting to surround himself with these meat shields and stuff is just going to end up hurting him because these guys are also going to win challenges. How long? I wonder how long Jeremy was planning to go with that strategy, because at some point you got to cut Joe loose as soon as he loses.
Yeah. All right, let's move on. Tribal Council. So Cass. Oh, okay.
Sorry. One last line. I
Okay.
love doing that to you. One last line from Sierra. She doesn't know if it's her or Wentworth. We think it's Wentworth because I think that was kind of obvious. Sierra says, scared to death. I guess I'm hoping for a miracle at Tribal Council. Ideally, that would be the best. A miracle at Tribal Council. Now you may go to Tribal Council.
All right. So Cass comes in and flips everybody off. So I wondered about that. I thought, oh, come on, Cass, what are you doing? So I asked Cass about it. And this is what Cass told me. Quote, most people knew I was joking because I had said I would flip them off if I made the jury. So it was kind of a joke. She was kind of like, yeah, I told y'all I was going to do this and I'm doing it. And at least the edit showed like Sierra laughing, so she wasn't doing it in a vindictive way. She was doing it to be funny. And I have a feeling this is going to be a common thing. Not just her. I have a feeling it's going to be the jury's going to come in flipping everybody off. Which, you know what that'll show? That she really is the queen of Ponderosa.
Yes, she's turning them to her side, bringing them over to the Cass side. Savage also said in his Dalton little short video that I think he said she came in and made some sort of gesture and mouth to him, no votes for you.
Right. This is what, she told me also that when someone would make eye contact with her, which they're not supposed to do, apparently they're not
a lot.
Right. She said that when someone would make eye contact with her, she would mouth no votes to them. Not everybody. She didn't do that to Sierra and Kelly, but to the others, because she wanted to get in their heads. So she's playing the game on Ponderosa, on the jury. And she's getting in their heads.
She needs to come out there with an apron and a fake mustache and be the soup guy from Seinfeld.
Yeah.
No soup for you. No votes for you.
Yeah. So Sierra's frustrated, but of course we've already talked about this. We've already talked about why she's frustrated. And so I don't really know that we need to go through all that again. But Kelly calls out, look, 4 people are running the game. But what does she not do?
She doesn't name them.
Yep.
In fact, Sierra doesn't either because she goes over the number.
Sierra tries to name them.
If I'm Sierra, I'm like, she said it, not me.
Right. So, and really, I would say there's two. The head of the snake is Jeremy and Tasha, with Jeremy being at the very top. With
Would you say Jeremy and Tasha or Jeremy and Savage? I think Tasha is just like Jeremy 2.0, or they're just of the same mind. You don't think Savage was up there with Jeremy?
Well, we go back to our earlier conversation. Savage brought an idea, and it was mainly Jeremy who shot it down. But I guess I kind of saw him.
That makes you right. No, that makes you right. That was Jeremy.
Savage drop.
Yeah.
So
you're right.
Jeremy's got Tasha and he's got Fishback, and he's got Joe as his shield, but Joe's not really knowing what's going on with them. So anyway, Joe says, kind of, perception is truth. And that's not true. Perception is reality. That doesn't make it true. That's just, it may look like this, even though it isn't. And so it's reality to others, but that doesn't make it true. It just makes it. So that struck me as odd. And then I had to think about it.
I like that. I like when that subject comes up, it doesn't matter if it's true or not. It's what's perceived,
right?
What they think. And it took me back to Stephen lamenting about not winning that reward and talking about bonding, and in that he didn't bond. He missed out on bonding in Tocantins. And then Jeremy pipes in, do you think they're bonding? And to me, that's just, I read Andy Baker's blog, so I believe everything said has a reason. And that's going to worry Jeremy going down the road. So.
Yep. All right. So they talk idols. Go ahead.
I was going to say Savage talks about how we do things together. There's no hierarchy. We make decisions. We respect each other. Blah, 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 blah.
Right. In fact, that's where Steven says he doesn't believe there's a bottom, that it's not a hierarchical. I can't say the word. As it normally is. But of course, Sierra disagrees. No, I wrote it down. I just can't say it.
I didn't write it down because I didn't want to say it.
Hierarchical, whatever. Sierra disagrees. So, Anyway, Kelly says it's either me, Sierra, or Abby. But Probst, it's not us just trying to make. Someone came to me. So their little group isn't as tight as they think it is.
Right.
Someone came to me. And then she won't call him out. Well, Jeff, what if I'm here tomorrow?
Love that line. Love that response.
Kelly. Yeah. All right. So they vote. I'm sorry. Yeah. Kelly shocks everybody. Are you ready for that? David?
I'm ready. I'm a little distracted because I think our feed is frozen. They're having trouble watching on YouTube and our website. So
yeah, we are losing viewers quickly, which means that whenever that happens, that usually means that it's not broadcasting. So that's okay.
If you're viewing and you want to lose, go to the chat room because they're carrying on a great conversation.
Yeah, really. stwdd.com/live. Of course, they can't see this because it's frozen. But anyway,
so you got a clip?
No, I don't.
Oh, I thought you were going to play something.
No. I was just saying, she shocks everyone. Not only does she play the idol, she plays it with style.
Yes.
Even the other Alliance members applaud her.
Yes.
Spencer doesn't applaud her, but Spencer's looking at her like, you know what? I respect that. That was awesome.
He was in
Jeremy applauds her. Kimmy applauds her.
Sierra applauds.
Yeah. And then I liked it when the fifth vote is read. She said, funny. Oh,
I mean, that's still got to be so scary to hear your name called 9 times. Wow. Yeah. If she hadn't grabbed that idol, man.
So Savage is voted out. And then, of course, Kelly says, I'm loyal to the people I'm with, y'all. The girl's from Seattle, Washington. And she said, y'all. What's up with that?
I don't know. We'll have to ask her after the season.
Yeah. And then, of course, what does Abby say?
At least you made the jury.
You made it to the jury.
This is for you, Abby.
Yeah. All right.
What does he say?
He doesn't say anything.
No, he doesn't.
He does a universal symbol for shut up, I hate you, or whatever.
One finger salute.
Yeah. Next time on Idol Hunting. There you go.
So what do you, I think, and this is a bold prediction, and if you don't want to hear my bold prediction for next week, then don't listen to the next 10 seconds. So 10
seconds. Okay.
3, 2, 1. I think Joe is the first one to jump. I think he reaches the buoy. I think he gets a note as to where an idol might be, and he leads the search for an idol, and they follow him.
Okay.
Because, 10 more seconds. Ready? 2, 1. Because Joe knows challenges, and Joe knows that this challenge on the doghouse is what I call it, is not made for big-footed people. And he is a big-footed person.
He has big feet?
Big feet. He's a big guy. This was made for Woo for Andrea. This is the ones that they won. And I think smaller feet people can win this. And I think he knows that. And when he hears advantage, he takes off.
Now, this is why we make a good team. Because
you disagree?
No, because I've honestly never taken the time to look at everybody's feet and compare them and see what size they are. And yet you have, which is just amazing to me, which is why you're ready to talk about this doghouse thing from that angle. And I'm not.
Oh, from looking down? Is that the angle that you're talking about? I don't have to look down there. He's so tall. He's got to have big feet.
Okay. All right. Either that or a big toe.
But that big toe.
Well,
very big toe.
Well, the big toe is what keeps you balanced. So anyway, go ahead.
Well, that just goes along with me loving watching Joe play the game, the physical game, the social game. He's just a fun person to watch. And I think he's going to know this challenge. He's going to look at it and say, wow, I need some help in this because I'm in trouble.
Yeah. All right. Let's do our listeners' thoughts on the episode. Mm-hmm. What do you say? You want to do something?
Why not? It's almost tomorrow. Sure.
All right. First, we have Tina from Parts Unknown.
Hi, David and Dwayne. I'm going to read it the way I want to, even though it says Dwayne and David. I hope you both are doing well. I usually listen to 4 to 5 podcasts after each episode. Wow. But yours is my favorite and the only one I write into, I promise. Oh, bless your heart.
You can write into others. Have fun. Just do ours first.
I would like to do some honest Tasha talk. I liked her early on, but after listening to Jeff Varner talking about how mean she is and then sensing that something very nasty went on between Tasha and Cass that was not even on the show, I'm beginning to think she is messing up her game. I would love to see an intelligent woman win, but I am thinking Tasha messed up by possibly getting too mean and personal. There does seem to be a line of getting too personal that she seems to have crossed by some of the players. Cass is calling herself the Queen of Ponderosa, and I feel she will mess up Tasha's game from there. Speaking of the Ponderosa, did you notice that there are two lawyers on the jury? I'm reading this for the first time.
Are you? Good. Oh, okay.
Yes, I didn't read this. Sorry. The Ponderosa should be fun to watch this season. Savage was very bitter and rude towards Cass at the Ponderosa. They did not even eat together. I'm still liking Cass. She seems to be the more mature one at Ponderosa, and when Savage threw a tantrum at Ponderosa, she was able to coax him into being a better person.
She was able to coax him
with the elixir. Yes, the elixir of feeling better.
How about she was able to coax him?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That sounds like something I'd do.
Sorry, I work with coaxial cable. I just read that wrong. I also love the fact that the travel started with a one-finger salute and ended with a one-finger salute, both by lawyers. Yes, great point.
Yes, it did.
Our friend Wentworth is doing great. She is a good player, and I'm happy she is getting an opportunity to show her game. You go, girl. She may be my new favorite since Tasha's star seems to be fading. Moving on to your last week's recap of episode 7. I loved watching your awkward moment. Oh, thanks, Tina. I kept watching it over and over and laughing so hard. Dwayne, I love the way you got one final shot in against David by calling him defensive and then immediately saying, let's move on. Yes, that was rather sly of you, wasn't it? Good point, Tina. I had a high school friend that used to do that. David, you were a big guy by letting it go. Either way, I feel like the kid watching her parents fight and compelled to say, I love you both equally. LOL.
Yeah. How many times have you insulted me and go, but let's move on?
It's happened.
I think we both do that occasionally.
Oh, yeah. The fact that we still talk to each other is why we're best friends. Right. I know it is hard to put on a podcast, but you do have some strong fans. Keep up the good work. That's all from your traveling friend Tina. I was supposed to be en route to Dhaka. Thank you.
Maybe
yesterday.
It is Dhaka, but
I think it is Dhaka. It's probably a silent H. But my trip was postponed until December. I hope it is not during the finale. All the best, Tina.
Yeah, I think you need to do some talking to whomever it is that
booking these trips. Yeah,
that's right. Or you know what? That one guy got a early screening of Star Wars Force Awakens. Maybe you can get an early screening of the finale. Of course, your situation may be a little different.
Yeah, just a little.
All right. Way to go, Tina. Thank you very much. Next, we have an audio feedback from the Giant Ninja.
What's up, guys? It's Will from Wonder Lake again, a.k.a. though I quite literally just finished watching the episode 3 minutes ago. I haven't read anything about it. I haven't seen anything about it. I haven't heard anything about it except for the episode itself. And man, was that awesome. I got to tell you, that episode was a by-the-book example of what I don't like about Andrew Savage. Now, keep in mind, I am talking about Andrew Savage, the Survivor character, not Andrew Savage, the person. I suspect that if I met Andrew Savage, the person, we'd get along great. I could see us being friends, to be honest. But I'm talking about Andrew Savage on TV, the way he comes across within the game of Survivor. And man, I can't stand him. And I'm going to tell you why. 2 episodes ago, Andrew Savage told Spencer Bledsoe that Spencer was safe. He said, I'm with you, Spencer. You're like a son to me. And then he tried to organize Spencer's ouster. He lied to Spencer, and that's fine. Survivor is about lying. You have to lie to get ahead in the game. But for Andrew Savage, he was justified in lying to Spencer because it served Andrew's needs. Meanwhile, my Cassie, and I love me some Cass, the Queen of Ponderosa, my Cassie organized a shot across the bow at Andrew with Sierra saying, you know what, you're not running this game, Mr. Savage. And they lied to him. They get back to their camp afterwards, and Savage is calling them disgusting, professional liars. How dare they? Dude, you just lied to Spencer. Why do you think it's okay for you to lie, but not for Cass and Sierra to lie to you? Fast forward to this episode, we've got the same thing. He is lying to Fishback. He told Fishback we're all good. Buy on strong. Nobody's turning on anybody. Meanwhile, he is trying to organize an ouster of Fishback. And again, that's fine. He's allowed to do that. That's part of the game. In fact, he should do it. It's in his best interest. Meanwhile, he's calling out other people for being, quote, disgusting, for lying. In Andrew Savage's world, when other people lie to further their games, they're disgusting. They're cheating. They're horrible. They're dishonest. They dishonor the game. But when Andrew Savage lies to further Andrew Savage's interest in the game, well, that's him being a hero. That's him standing up for goodness itself. You know what? You're full of it. You're full of yourself, and I'm tired of it. I am so glad to see you voted out of the game, Andrew. And again, I'm talking to Andrew, the character in Survivor, who thought he was running things. And on that same note, allow me to throw some props Joe's way. Joey amazing. I'm not a big fan of Joe's game, but today he impressed me. Not for winning immunity, whatever. That's what Joe does. But when Joe was told about the plot of Steven to get Joe out, Joe's response was, good for Steven. That's what Steven should be doing. He's playing the game for himself. He wasn't offended. He didn't think an injustice had been done. He just dealt with the information and is moving forward. Good for you, Joe. Understand that you're playing the game of Survivor, and, oh my gosh, so are other people. Moving forward, we've got a pretty clear 8 against a pretty clear 3. But of the 8, we've got Keith, who isn't loyal and is on the bottom. We've got Joe and Steven, who aren't going to work together, so either one of them may be willing to flip if they feel they're on the out and the other one is on the in. And we've got Spencer, who likes Jeremy and wants to stay with Jeremy, but is self-interested and will go where the numbers go. Of that 8, 3 would need to flip to change the game up at 11. I don't see it happening, but I like that there are enough maybes to keep it interesting. I'm looking forward to see where this season goes from here. That's all I've got. Later, peeps. Will at the Giant Ninja. What's up, guys? It's Will from Wonder Lake again, a.k.a. the Giant Ninja. So last time I talked to you, I told you I hadn't seen anything, hadn't heard anything, hadn't read anything. Well, now I have seen Andrew Savage's Ponderosa video, and I felt compelled to respond to some of that. So I hope that D&D will allow me just a couple of minutes more. Andrew, are you freaking kidding me? Every twist in Survivor hurts you. Yes, I get that you were the victim of the outcast tribe. But do you remember, I don't know, 7 days ago when the earliest merge in Survivor history, literally the earliest merge in Survivor history, saved you from being voted off? That merge was so early that literally people were wondering whether Probst organized it to save you specifically. Now, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm not calling anybody out. I don't have a theory about why production did what they did. I'm just saying, don't be so self-centered. No, not every twist ever works against Andrew Savage. One worked against Andrew Savage. And if you're talking about a hidden immunity idol this time, that's your own fault. Learn to split the vote, dude. And more importantly, better treat the queen with the respect she deserves. Later, peeps. Will and you.
Best. Somebody has some opinions.
Don't hold back, Will.
Yeah.
Don't hold back.
You know,
Tell us
Will,
exactly
it
what
really
you feel.
disappoints me that you're not letting it all out there.
I didn't know the second part was coming up. That caught me off guard. I thought you were playing it again.
Yeah, really. Wendy also has 2, so we'll be. Good job. I don't have anything else to add to that.
Wow, that was good.
Yeah. All right. Oh, Christmas idea. If you want to get me something for Christmas, I want one of those kneeling chairs. Blasted. My butt is so freaking sore. All right. Next, we have Paul. I'm not sure where Paul's from. Where's Paul from? Paul doesn't say where he's from. With Jeremy keeping Steven around, do you think that those 2 could make the final 3? Well, I've already told you whom I think makes the final 3, so no. David, do you think Jeremy and Steven could make the final 3?
I don't think Steven would let Jeremy make the final 3 if he has any say. I mean, Jeremy would be his JT, so I couldn't see that.
Okay. Also, who would you have the better shot at winning between the 2?
I would say Jeremy, which is why Steven wouldn't let Jeremy go to the end.
Well, I would say it depends on how they played to get to the final 2.
Yeah, final 8 to the end, yeah.
As of right now, Jeremy's clearly in control, but Steven, is doing that moving and shaking and talking, and
that's
Jeremy's
true.
just kind of sitting back on his throne.
Yeah, if Steven could orchestrate those big moves and then use that, like he said, on his resume, he wants Joe on his resume, then yeah, he could pull off a respected win.
Yeah. Gosh, he's got so much more here. Thanks, guys, and I love the show. Paul. That's the end of it.
You said he's got so much more.
I know, it was a joke. Short and sweet, man. Short and sweet. Thank you, Paul. That was great. All right, we have another feedback. It is from Wendy in South Dakota. Wendy in South Dakota, another 2-parter.
Okay.
Hey, Dwayne and David, it's Wendy from South Dakota. I got a little confused right away at the beginning. I thought last week it was Cass, Sierra, and Abby that had voted for Tasha, and I'm not sure how Kelly Wentworth got thrown in there with those 3, but maybe I missed something last week. Anyway, I just want to say congratulations, Lady Wentworth, on giving us one of the most exciting episodes and tribal councils that we have seen in a very, very, very long time. It was super exciting episode. My heart was racing at the end. There's not really a lot during the middle to say other than a little disappointed in Joe that he's not willing to make a move. You're not going to win if you don't start making moves. So, I mean, I just hope he starts to understand. And I'm sure, watching the episode and seeing that if he hadn't won the immunity necklace that they were going to vote him out, probably would make him make a different decision. But hindsight is 20/20 and all that. I also hope that this doesn't just buy Wentworth 3 days. I hope it shifts the tide and makes people think. And there's a tipping point, especially in a large alliance like that they have to start thinking, okay, if I'm at the bottom of this alliance, maybe I need to pick up these 3 girls that are all on their own out here. So I kind of hope that's this coming week, so that it gives Kelly Wentworth a chance to, go a whole lot further. She's my favorite. So she's kind of the one I picked from the beginning that I hoped she would win. Anyway, great episode. Look forward to next week. Y'all take care. Bye-bye. Hey, Dwayne and David, there was something I forgot to say in my feedback, and was so startling that I had to rewind and watch it several times. I just want to say that Sierra has upended Eliza as the queen of eye rolls. The girl has talent, and she moves her eyes separately from one another. I was amazed, astounded. It was just fantastic. I rewound several times to watch the eye rolls. And it just kudos to you, Sierra. They were fantastic. That's all I wanted to say. Thanks.
A whole separate feedback for eye rolls.
That was good. I actually thought the same thing about Eliza with Sierra's were really good too. I got two quick things. The only people that voted for Tasha last week were Cass and Abby Maria. But Kelly did tell us that by that point they knew it was Cass. They knew that the guys were going to go that way, so there was no point going all in for Tasha. And Sierra just threw hers at Savage, just more like as a payback, or I know you're still there.
Right.
And I did start earlier by saying Joe hasn't had a chance to show strategy. But then again, this week he showed strategy by not pushing the Steven envelope with Savage and going with the flow and going with the group. You know, he even said there, like Steven has said and Joe has said, there's a time to make big moves, and you just got to find the right time to make them.
Right.
So he has shown signs of him playing his strategy. So I guess I can't say that he hasn't done anything that way, but he's waiting for the chance to make a big move. And I think this week, I thought this week would be Steven's. I think next week should be Joe's big chance to make a move if he's going to do something.
All right. David has the next one. It's Tony from Louisiana.
Hey guys, this is Tony from Louisiana. As we all know, Survivor is a game of timing and opportunity. We saw good timing with Kelly playing her idol when she needed to, and Jeremy not playing his when he didn't need to. That's a good point. I really wondered why Jeremy didn't think about playing his idol, or if he did think about it. I don't know. That's a good point, because I did think about that.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah, I'd have been scared to death. You know, if I was Jeremy, I probably would have played it. I'd have been 75% sure I was playing it.
Yeah.
Keep going. Jeremy keeping his cool and keeping it in his bag was especially impressive, considering that his name was the first one said when Sierra listed those at the top of the pecking order.
Wait a second. He didn't have it with him. Why would he?
How do you know he didn't have it with him?
Well, I'm speculating that this wasn't him keeping his cool and keeping it in his bag. He totally misread Kelly along with everyone else in their alliance, and they had no fear. They thought she was going home. Why would he bring it? I don't think he brought it.
In his secret scene, though, didn't he say, we're pretty sure she doesn't have one? You know,
no, he even talked about how he was dealing with how he got the idol and all that stuff like that. And he goes, I just don't see Kelly being able to do that.
I know. That was good. That was good. He said, I watched the other challenges. I don't see anybody else, you know, dude, she got the first idol in the first challenge.
Like, I don't even think Kelly could have an idol. I was like,
yeah. And then he said, and then he said, yeah, nobody's seen her looking for idols or anything. So we're pretty sure she doesn't have one.
Yeah.
That's a sign when somebody's don't do something, they're confident.
So my speculation is he didn't even bring it.
Okay.
Maybe I'll ask him next time I chat with him, which isn't that often, but
tweet him.
I'll see.
He'll answer.
Yeah.
We also saw some not so great timing from Fishback, however. Bouncing ideas off of people that you trust is fine and well, but going around shoring up votes before the immunity challenge was even played was a big risk that almost sent him out of the game.
Yes, it was.
He should have waited until he knew Joe would be vulnerable before taking his shot. Steven got really lucky that Andrew got idled out without him having to get blood on his hands, because if he would have stayed in the game, Savage would have made sure that Steven will be gone soon. As for the decision not to split votes, I do understand why they were able to do it last week and not this week. Last week, everybody in the majority was in agreement that Cass had to go. This week, just hours before Tribal, the plan was to blindside Fishback. Splitting the votes would have given the three women a better chance of taking advantage of the turmoil to flip the numbers and get out Steven. I imagine the reason they chose Kelly over Sierra was that if they had to put all their eggs in one basket, then they would put the votes on the least likely person to have an idol. Remember, Kelly had told everybody that Terry probably had the TKO idol.
Mm-hmm.
Good point. Love the show, guys. Can't wait to hear what you think.
Well, Tony, I believe the reason why they picked Kelly was because she was tight with Joe.
Yes.
So she had a connection that neither Sierra nor Abby had. And I honestly think the reason there's even a scene where Spencer and them are all hanging around. They're like, we don't even need to split the votes, do we? And they're like, nah, we don't even need to split the votes. So they honestly didn't think that they needed to.
Yeah, just to add to that, I think Jeremy said he wanted to keep Joe as a meat shield, but he didn't want to leave Joe with any votes. And he called Kelly his lieutenant, and he wanted to take away Joe's support system. And then what was the second thing he said? Oh, Savage told Dalton Ross in his little 9-minute interview, we were just exhausted at that point, and you really got to take time to set up the split. So we just didn't do it. We were just so worn out, so tired.
Oh my gosh, really?
I know. He told them they were exhausted at that point. So I guess mentally and physically.
We're exhausted. Let's not play the game.
You know what? Your banking hours are over. We locked the front door. There's no reason to worry about the back. It's probably locked. We're probably safe. Don't worry about it. They wouldn't rob us tonight.
No one's going to rob us after 1 a.m. in the morning.
I know. They never have before. Why would they do it tonight?
That's right.
So.
All right. Next we have Steve Tarantino from New York. He's the one that always puts up the cool graphics of the who got voted out and Blindside and stuff like that. Hey, D&D, I would say this show has to be the best one yet. No? Steve, I would say it had the best ending for sure. I don't know if it was the best one. For me, it had the best ending.
For me, I would grade it pretty high. I'd have to look back at my notes from the previous episodes, but 2 good challenges. The immunity challenge wasn't great, but it was okay. But I loved the first challenge, and I loved I loved Keith on the tuk-tuk, and I thought it was good. Thought it was really good.
Yeah. The reward challenge. Why is Abby going into the water? Come on, guys. Gonna lift that box into the boat? At the reward cafe, I was surprised that I didn't see a clue to the idol. Maybe there was none since both idols are in play. I see Keith had a nice time on the bike. Maybe he can drive people to Ponderosa. Love Kelly with the glasses. Sometimes she wears the glasses, sometimes not. She wears contacts, I guess. It's funny seeing scenes with glasses on, then off. For me, I say keep the glasses, Kelly look. Well, there you go, Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
We have a fan of the glasses.
I think they use contacts mostly for challenges if they need to.
What do you think about What do you think about Savage listening to Steve Tosh about voting off Joe if he doesn't win the challenge? I would think that Steve Tosh would see Savage, no? Question, guys, how many times have we seen this on Survivor where people, quote, listen in, unquote, while people are talking about other people? It just seems funny that they are so close and they don't see each other. This happened in other seasons also. Yeah, it does.
It might be a shot where Fishback and Tasha are talking and the cameraman sees Savage and just slightly turns and catches Savage looking at him.
Yeah.
It would have been better to see them all in the same shot, but if it was a separate camera crew following Savage, then yeah, that kind of would have been obvious. But Tasha wouldn't have cared because Tasha's tight with Jeremy and Savage, so she wouldn't have cared. If Fishback didn't see him, then that's why he got up so close.
Yeah, it looked like one of those situations where you're talking and he walks into camp from the other direction and you don't see him. So
right.
At Immunity Challenge, I see they had a nice flood just before the challenge. LOL. Hey, Joe wins again. Joe, please keep winning. I'd like to see you in the finale. Nice showing from Keith. If this was a bike challenge, I think he would take it all. Sorry, guys, for me, I don't like the immunity necklace look. Looks like an immunity necklace. I'm sorry. I don't think the immunity necklace looks like an immunity necklace. You need some wood, skulls, or something. Hey, Survivor, hit me up and I can design you guys something.
There you go.
I'm with you there, Steve. I don't much care for the new
necklace. Looks like something the Pharaoh would wear or something.
Yeah. At Tribal Council, Steven, Kelly, and Sierra are the targets. Why didn't they split the votes if they were targeting Kelly? These are returning players. Wow. Happy Kelly and the feeling to play the idol. Good play, Kelly. Team Kelly with glasses. Hashtag Team Kelly with glasses. Savage Blindside. Next week should be really good after what happened this week. I see at Ponderosa, Savage and Cass are not talking. You didn't watch the whole video then there, Steve. We'll talk about it in a minute in our Pondering Ponderosa segment. Oh, D&D, keep the podcast coming. New York graphic artist. All right, we will keep the podcast coming. All right, good job there. Next, we have Andy. Andy Westover from Missouri. He is the wonderful man who takes all of the points that Shayna gathers up and does the D&D Survivor, the D&D challenge on our Facebook group. Go ahead.
A couple thoughts, reactions for you from last night's show. Keith was so close. Sure, I was a little perturbed with yet another ball balancing challenge. However, they did a great job ramping up the drama. I wanted Keith to win so bad and was on the edge of my seat. Hats off to Joe Amazing, who is deserving of his moniker, but I sure would like to see someone else win something. I think you'll see that next week. I was thrilled, as we all were, with Kelly's autoplay and amazed that they didn't try to split the votes. From Savage's interview with Dalton Ross, it sounds like they just didn't think she had an idol and didn't want to go to the trouble of dealing with the stress of a split vote. Whoops, that backfired. Yep. After getting over the euphoria of the moment, I began thinking, oh no, Kelly's probably hosed next vote. It seems to me that whenever someone saves themselves with an idol, they are gone the next time. I decided to test this hypothesis by scanning through the Survivor Wiki and looking at the history. Here are the results. Disclaimer, I did this quickly, so my accuracy may not be 150,000%, though hopefully it is close. All right. Of the 39 times that an immunity idol has been played, it has been played successfully only 16 times, meaning that the person for whom the idol was played would have gone home had the idol not been played. Wow, that's not even 50%.
That is why David kicked my butt this week in the D&D challenge, because Kelly played the idol on herself and it saved her.
Exactly. The first Yao Man in Fiji. I'm sorry. The first was Yao Man in Fiji. Of those 16 successful plays, only 2 were subsequently voted out in the next tribal council. Tom Westman in Heroes vs. Villains and Malcolm Freeberg played one for Eddie Fox and Caramone, and Malcolm was out next.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, most people would have thought
more.
A lot more.
I would have thought that too. Abby Maria in the Philippines is the only person on the current season with a previous successful idol play under her belt. In the vast majority of cases, those saved survived at least 2 or more votes after their successful idol play, and 2 went on to win. Mike Holloway and Natalie Anderson.
Wow. So just as many people went on to win that were subsequently voted out. Wow. That is a really cool thing to know. That is really cool. Go ahead. I'm sorry. That just really was.
Yeah, I'm just letting that sink in. Only 2 people that have played idols. No, it's gone on. No. Well, in the vast majority of the cases, those saves survived at least 2 more votes after successful idol play, and 2 went on to win.
Yes. Okay. Of the 16 idol plays that saved them, right? 2 people were voted out the next idol, the next tribal council, and 2 of those people went on to win.
I'm thinking
that is pretty amazing.
I'm thinking Parvati and fans versus favorites, but I think she did all of her idol play in Heroes and Villains. So, okay, I got you. And Natalie's, like he says, who played an idol for Jacqueline in San Juan del Sur. I was looking at that today. We were talking about that. She played it for Jacqueline. She looked at Jacqueline and said, "Did you vote for who I told you to vote for?"
Yes.
That was a good idol play.
Yeah.
This gives me considerably more hope for Kelly's longevity in the game. Not only does this play give Kelly the record for most votes nullified by a single idol play, it puts her in great company in Survivor history with the likes of Russell Hantz, Parvati, Penner, and others. Not only was this play obviously beneficial for Kelly and her posse, but I believe that the vote for Savage was the perfect choice for them to shake up the game. I agree. I believe that Savage's rigidity, sorry, it's late. Rigidity was the key force holding his alliance together. In his absence, it seems far more likely that the members of the alliance will feel inclined to freelance and turn on themselves than they would have if Savage was still there, shaming and shunning all looking to flip. That creates the possibility of a far brighter future for Abby, Sierra, and Kelly than the otherwise likely Pagonging. I hope they find a way to take advantage of this opening. That's all for now. Andy Westover.
I got to tell you what, that one deserves an applause. I mean, some awesome statistics there. that I
Yeah,
will
that's true.
definitely be using on Twitter tomorrow.
Yep. I hope he's right.
Yeah, really. Well, I'll say Andy said it. All right. Next, we have Miko, the author of Miko's Challenge, which we have today. Hey, guys, this truly was a great episode of Survivor. The last time I was this enthusiastic while watching an episode was probably during the Philippines when artists got voted out. That's what happens when there's a buildup that something huge is going to happen, such as a big arrogant guy or an alliance who think they're in charge having a huge downfall, and then it actually happens. Not like last season when they kept on teasing us that something's going to give, and the only thing that happens is Mike going on an immunity run. Talk about overhyping a season. But enough of that. At this point, I'm actually willing to buy Probst's hype, at least partially, that this is going to be one of the best seasons of all time. Only partially because usually when Probst hypes a season like that, it means a dominant male winning, and I still don't want that. But at least El Ducho, copyright Alex Angarita from Survivor Fiji, is now gone. I'm really looking forward to seeing who gets all the screen time now that Savage is gone. Hoping for more Keith and Kimmy as opposed to more Spencer or Jeremy. I mean, I think we've seen enough of them. Well, Miko, I mean, if they're the ones that are running the game, then they're the ones that are going to be shown. So we'll see. Speaking of airtime, Keith, Kimmy, and Kelly all spoke. And he's talking about Kelly Wigglesworth. Mm-hmm. Yay! And even though it wasn't much, I think just seeing Wigglesworth on those scenes with people while they are talking strategy, even if she's mostly not saying anything that makes the cut, is evidence enough that she is doing something and that she isn't just hanging back and completely out of the loop, as some people seem to think. Which also means that I don't see any reason why she couldn't, in theory, come up with a winning argument if she made it to the end. This is as a reply to those people who think that her winning would be the worst thing ever. Not that I really have high hopes of her making it that far, but I think that saying that she, or anyone else for that matter, who's out there couldn't be a worthy winner, or that they're not doing anything based on 43 minutes out of 48 hours is a disservice to the game that we all love. I'm ready to fight anyone who disagrees, but the bottom line is that the only ones whose opinions matter in deciding who is and isn't worthy of winning are the members of the jury, and they have a right to vote based on whatever criteria they feel like using. Okay, rant over.
Okay. Is it just me, or do I feel like my quotes are going to be really hard today?
I was going to say, I have hope in today's Miko's Challenge.
But you have to admit, Kelly's appearance in this episode was much different than her appearances in previous episodes. I don't know if it's because of the merge or because of the closeness or a few numbers, but her appearance in this episode was much different. You can take that violin and go stick it in your VHUs.
The world's smallest violin. Play a song of desperation.
I'm so worried about my quotes.
Other things I loved about this episode. Dude, we are an hour and a half in, and we have so much more. Now, if you're like me, you're going, yes, I love long podcasts, whenever you're listening. All right. The edit during the immunity challenge. It seemed like it lasted for so long, but at least I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. Even though it kind of seemed like the obvious thing that Joe was going to win, but they still somehow managed to build it up so that I just wasn't sure. Abby. She had exactly 2 lines in the entire episode, and they were both perfect. I think she had 3 lines. First, Abby calling Steven a Debbie Downer, and to get over it was perfect irony. Okay, he's counting that as 1 line then. Okay. Yeah. Was perfect irony considering how she is usually herself, and then telling Savage that at least he made it to the jury was just a perfect ending for the episode. Keith's scene. It seemed completely irrelevant to the strategy or anything else that happened in the episode, and I've already seen some people complain how it took away from the screen time for strategy talks. But I personally didn't miss a single second more of strategy. It was just a perfect little comic relief scene in the middle of all this craziness. Although at the same time, I gotta wonder, Steven was worried that the people on the reward challenge might get a chance to bond, and so they did. Could there be a larger point behind showing that scene after all? I would kind of hope so, because I wouldn't mind if those people were the final 6, but only time will tell. I feel like I'm mostly rambling now, so I apologize if there doesn't seem to be a lot of structure in this feedback, but it's past 1 a.m. here already, and I gotta sleep. I just didn't want to miss out on sending feedback for this episode, since it really could easily go on the list of my top 20 favorite episodes of all time. Looking forward to hearing what everyone else thinks. Awesome. Thank you, Miko.
Yeah, I'll reserve my thank you till after the Miko challenge.
Yeah. All right. Next we have Will Campbell from North Carolina.
Hey, D&D Survivor Will here from Raleigh, North Carolina. First of all, thanks for all you guys do. I'm a patron because I truly love the podcast and fully understand how time and energy consuming running the show can be. I work in video/media production. But you guys do it for the love of the show, and being a monthly patron is the least I can do to show some support. So rock on.
Thank you, Will. We greatly appreciate it.
But on to the task at hand. What a great episode. We had some pretty close challenges, chaos at camp, and an idle blindside combo at tribal. Sorry, it's almost tomorrow. And better yet, Lady Wentworth pulls off a big move. A major threat, or at least influence, is gone, and idols have been confirmed in the game. I'm excited to see how, if at all, this will affect the already blurred alliance lines. That's true, because Spencer even said if idols are even in play. So that did confirm that idols are out there, because only 2 people knew about it so far. I absolutely love the scene of Keith driving the Toto. For me, it was a rare moment that is truly outside the game. Just people being people and enjoying the moment. Of course, we had Sierra playing hard just before that scene, and it was immediately followed by Steven's woes about losing. But it's refreshing to see castaways just enjoying the moment. Unless this is all part of Keith's plan to butter up the jury with free Toto rides.
That's awesome.
My big question is, with Savage out of the game, did Spencer's stock just rise? It doesn't look like anyone is actively out to get him. He's made connections with several people still in the game. It wasn't called out as one of the 4 people running the game. Without being on anyone's bad side, it seems unlikely he will get voted out anytime soon. What do you guys think? Thanks again, guys. Survivor Will. I think that's a great point. Jeremy might actually see Spencer. Since Joe has ties to the girls, Jeremy might think Spencer is his key to saving his group. That's a good point.
I think Spencer's going to go over with the girls with Joe.
Oh, I do too. I think Spencer and Wigglesworth are just both waiting for the numbers to pile up, and are going to move with the numbers. I think Spencer's just being more relationship active, whereas Wigglesworth wasn't.
Right. All right. Our last feedback tonight is Kyle Carlson. Hey there, D&D. This is my first feedback, so I'll keep this one fairly short and sweet, and we will see how it goes. My first thought is that Wentworth is a total baller. What is that? What is a baller?
Good basketball player.
Oh, okay. Excuse me. I'm pretty sure I had a one-man. Yes, we're 46 and 48. Wow. I feel like I did when I was a kid I can imagine what people feel like, when your parents don't know something.
Dwayne's in gym class. What's a layup?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I had a one-man dance-off at the end of that tribal, seeing Savage go home. With that being said, I can't help but think that it wasn't very smart for the big alliance not to split the vote when they definitely would have had the numbers to easily do so. In a secret scene, we see them talking about it and saying that Wentworth definitely doesn't have an idol. I guess they'll never let that happen again. Au contraire. People let the same mistake happen all the time.
I don't think they're going to have the opportunity to let that happen.
Oh, yeah. I can't help but think that this might only be a temporary win for the 3 girls on the bottom, though. If we look back at the 3 amigos in Survivor Caramoan, they got Philip out, but that didn't really change in their inevitable fate. I do think that they do have options, though. Sierra was saying that people are on the top of the alliance and some must be on the bottom. However, I think that nobody in that alliance sees themselves at the bottom because they each have their own core 2 or 3 people within the big alliance. So each person has a different perception of who might be 1, 2, and 3 than the next person might. I think if the bottom 3 can approach the correct block of people from the big alliance, they might have a chance. Depending on how strong Wentworth and Joe's relationship still may be, I could potentially see them trying to get the Takeo 5 minus Cass back together and replacing Cass with Abby. Then you would have Spencer, Jeremy, Fish, and Tasha together, leaving Kimmy and Wiggles, of all people, to make a decision. I think Kimmy would definitely stay with Jeremy and Fish, and we have seen her show her loyalty to them before, but Wiggles could be a total wild card. which would be the most mind-boggling thing to happen. I'm a huge fan of Fishback, as many of us hardcore fans also are. So I would hope that something like that doesn't happen, but it's just food for thought. I think we saw a good sign of his longevity in the game, seeing Jeremy stand up for him to the rest of the alliance, showing that Jeremy really does want to stick with Steven throughout the game. The question will be whether or not Steven can change his perception before the time comes to have the jury decide on a winner, possibly by taking out an ally that can beat him in the end and being able to take credit for it. I'd love to hear your thoughts on all of this. Keep up the awesome work, Kyle Carlson. Well, I hope we pretty much addressed every single bit of that during the show, and excellent points.
I think the edit did a good job of showing Wigglesworth on both sides of the alliances. But I'm going to lean that she's towards Joe's alliance. She rewarded with him. She was on both his conversations with the girls, even though she was there for the Savage and Jeremy decision of going after Wentworth. I want to say she's on Joe's side, whichever way Joe goes. But you're right. There's a lot of names in the middle there.
Yeah. All right, y'all. It's time for a new segment called
Pondering Ponderosa.
That's right. We're going to talk about those Ponderosa videos that CBS has gone above and beyond this season and are really producing some good Ponderosa videos.
Absolutely.
Cue David to say something.
Absolutely. Sorry, I watched it early this morning. I haven't seen it since. So.
Oh, well, suffice it to say, Cass went into Ponderosa last week and just really enjoyed herself, of course. But whenever Savage came in, Savage was just, first of all, from what I have heard, Savage was not happy at all about being voted off and may have shown that to everyone, probably after Abby said, at least you're on the jury. And then he gets to Ponderosa, and he doesn't want to have anything to do with Cass. You know, he's still like, this is game Cass, you know, and he's even like, you know, I like the old Cass I saw, and this chaos Cass, I don't want to have. And Cass is like, dude, let's just have some wine, and I don't want any problems.
He was looking for another Ponderosa.
He was looking for a fight.
And from just being blindsided to have to deal with somebody you think you can't stand. Oh my, I can't imagine what he was going through for that period of time.
So I say props to Cass, and not just because we're a fan of Cass, but props to Cass because she patiently waited, didn't push anything, didn't get defensive. How many people get defensive and they just need to chill out and just let people work through stuff? You know, he was raw. He had those raw feelings, and she allowed him to get through those. And by the next day they were talking and chatting, and then she got him a little tipsy on wine. And the last part of that video, that Ponderosa video, is so blasted hilarious. You've got to watch it all. Absolutely wonderful. So now they're like best buds, and Cass's whole plan is to run Ponderosa, and so far she's doing a good job.
First swing, home run.
That's right.
This to me, I'm so glad that we're getting. I'm sorry, Cass, that you're out so early, but this is an opportunity for people to see the side of Cass that you and I have had the good fortune of seeing offline, because we talked to her offline and we've video chatted with her offline. I got to video chat with her for a while. That's something, but Cass is so funny, and she's so kind. She's very honest, and she's just one of the neatest people you'd ever want to meet. Right. You know, it's somebody you want to have lunch with and you'd have a blast. I mean, Chaos Cass is not Cass. That's the person she played for Kagayan, and she hardly even played it this time. Watch her Ponderosa videos. I mean, she's such a cool person to talk to. And once you see her and realize that she's just laughing at herself, you're going to laugh and you're going to think of Cass as a different person. Right. I'm so glad they did the videos the way they did.
Yeah. Now, that doesn't mean that she's not going to throw a little chaos at the players while they're playing. You know, she's definitely going to be doing some mind games and things like that with the players while she's on the jury. You know,
but we should get even more behind the scene talk from her about what she's doing. Yeah. And it's so good because we're seeing a third way of Cass playing the game as a jury member the whole time. Right. She's the first jurist. So that's what's going to be so awesome.
So what I think is really cool about this whole Ponderosa thing is, and I realize Savage is the one that got voted off, and we've already talked about that, but we didn't get to talk about Cass last week too much. If she's not going to win the game, this was the perfect place for her to be voted out.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right? Perfect place, because now she's calling herself the Queen of Ponderosa. She gets to help control Ponderosa. And I love what she and Savage have decided. This isn't going to be like her last Ponderosa, where it was bitter and biting. Everybody was mad and hated her. She's like, we're going to have fun. And Savage came in expecting bitterness and backbiting and chaos. And instead, he ends up having a blast. And he's even like, you know what? And he's so serious. Why is so serious? He's so serious, and she just kind of brings out some of that fun. So you end up watch both videos. Great job. Great. Anything else about Ponderosa, David?
Just echoing what you said. I love at the beginning, he says, she is someone I would never be friends with in real life.
That's right. I don't even want to forgive her.
That's the night he got blindsided.
Yeah.
And then it actually says 43 hours later, they're sitting on the beach drinking together, drinking wine and stuff, and they're laughing, and they're a comedy act. They're just you can tell that they're buds, and it's so funny. It's so good. And that's Cass. So you just to talk to her is to know her and to love her. So
and you know what? This is just a nice little time for me to share a little bit of wisdom for everybody. When you carry bitterness in your heart and you won't forgive people, you're the one who suffers. But when you let it go and you allow yourself to have relationships and allow yourself to forgive and not hold bitterness, it frees you up and you can be happy, So there you go. That was
Pondering Ponderosa.
It is now time for
You write them. We read them. iTunes reviews.
Yes, I know we don't actually read the entire review. I just felt like it would be a little too self-serving to do that. iTunes reviews are a wonderful way to help people find us on iTunes. And to be honest, we like them. So here we go. Our first one is from someone named Sesternino. So it's like Sesternino and owned with the zero, with the O being both Sesternino. Get it? All right. This person is from Australia. It was actually left like a week and a half ago, but I only get international reviews once a month. He or she gave us 1 star and titled the review, "Welcome to the bottom of the Survivor podcast barrel." I don't think he likes us.
Okay.
No. There you go.
That advice was just as good as your last advice.
Yeah.
And your last advice was good.
Yeah. Next, we have Faith 1979, and that's Faith E. So it's FAITHE 1979. Gave us 5 stars and titled the review #1 Survivor Podcast. Talk about the extremes this week.
From the bottom of the barrel to the top of the mountain.
That's right. And then the third one this week is A Child Forgiven. Gave us 5 stars and titled the review A Great Survivor Podcast. So thank you for your reviews, even the ones that were negative. And, I got to tell you, we have learned from some of the previous negative reviews and have improved the podcast. I do wish those same people would recognize the improvements we made and do another review, but hey, what can I do? You can read their full reviews and leave us your own review by going to our website, scrolling down and clicking on our logo. That, my friends, is
You write them. We read them. iTunes reviews.
Oh, yeah. See, I like doing the iTunes reviews. That's fun. I like it. All right.
Whatever makes you happy, buddy. Believe me, I was so happy last night because I knew you'd be happy. I didn't know you'd be that happy that you would make a video. So I was just it was so neat to see you so explosively happy because I knew you'd probably have trouble going to sleep. Because I did. I started watching it again last night.
Yeah. You know what? After the show's over, let's do a little shooting the breeze at the end. I want to tell you about what I did last night.
Okay.
All right. And I know it's late. So, and we'll keep it on the podcast for all of y'all who want to hear it. All right. It is time for. Oh, I forgot to shorten this one. Sorry.
They had a short
It is time for Mikko's Challenge.
There, we'll cut it short. Mikko's Challenge, my friends. Mikko's Challenge. I am ready to kick some butt. David is winning 52-40.
You're gonna catch up because I have the feeling my quotes are gonna be pretty hard this week compared to your first one. Yeah, mine should be hard.
All right, David. Number one, this game is always changing. This game is always changing.
I could see several people saying that.
This game is always changing.
No. No. I want to say, is it Spencer or Sierra that said that? I want to say Spencer. He said so many things like that.
Ah, crud. It was Sierra. Boom!
Good.
Oh, no. None of this good stuff. No patronizing. It's like, oh, don't even, David. You try to win. None of this. Oh, good. I'm glad I missed that.
I think
catch up.
I think the good was coming out before you told me it was Sierra.
Whatever.
Right. Okay. Quote number one for you. He couldn't swim, by the way. Yeah.
Wigglesworth.
Yep.
All right. Quote number two, David. I'm going to be loyal so long.
Going to be loyal so long.
Yeah. And then it has, do you know what sick means? SIC?
No, I've seen it everywhere, but I still don't know what that
I don't know what it means either. So this is.
Oh.
Way to go, Mikko. Way to go.
That was Joe talking about working with Savage and Jeremy because he talked about Steven. And then
shut up. You're right. How did you get that one?
Because I just watched it about 2 hours ago.
Oh, so did I. It doesn't ever help me. All right, go ahead.
Quote number two. He's dead to me.
He's dead to me.
Now, you know who didn't say it?
He's dead to me. Okay.
Haters gonna hate.
Okay, he's dead to me. Who said that? Who was it about? He's dead to me. Okay, Abby didn't say it. Wigglesworth didn't say it. Joe didn't say it. Kimmy didn't say it. Jeremy didn't say it. Keith didn't say it. Tasha didn't say it. Sierra may have said it. Steven didn't say it. Spencer didn't say it. Sierra.
No, it's Kelly.
Who was it? Oh, it was Kelly?
I think I want to talk about Joe. If he didn't vote with
him. That's right, because she said he didn't have to do anything.
The banana.
She said he's dead to me. Yeah, and I thought, oh no, he's not. Crud. I should have got that one. All right, number three. This is a once in a lifetime deal.
Okay, I'm a blank on that because that doesn't even ring a bell for this episode. So I'll say who would have done a deal.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'll say Kelly.
You got the right first letter. It's Keith.
Really?
Yeah, he's talking about getting to ride the Toto.
Oh, real? Oh, that's that's funny.
All right, so you have one correct, and I have one correct.
All right, quote number three for you, and this you've done three for me, right?
Yes, so I can catch up right here. I can pass you.
Yes, you could. Rewards are extremely important.
Fishback.
No, Sierra.
No, Fishback.
No, Sierra.
Also Sierra, but Fishback also said it.
Fishback was thinking it.
Crap. Dadgummit. We're tied, one apiece.
Okay.
All right, David. The first time Joe loses, he might be going home.
That's Jeremy, because he would not commit in his confession.
I don't have to know why you know it.
Well, I remember because he wasn't as committed to it as Steven was. That's why it led me to believe that Joe wasn't going to go home. He was still protecting him.
Were you one of those kids in school that when you got the right answer, you had to explain why you got the right answer to the whole class while the rest of the class said, shut up, we want to go home?
I don't think so.
Well, you are tonight. All right. Ask me number 4.
Ask me number 4. Number 4. We don't want to create a divide so soon. Come on, you got to know this.
Shut up.
If you just watched it,
hey,
you should really know this.
David, It's
I'm
not
sorry.
nice. We don't want to create a divide so soon. That was Jeremy.
No, but he was talking about that when he followed up Tasha's comment about not wanting to create a divide so soon. Tasha said it to Savage while he was in the hammock. I can even
And
tell
yet
you in a
again,
minute.
you have to show that not only do you know the answer, not only did I get it wrong, but you knew it and the context around it.
We still have a shot of finishing
David.
before tomorrow, you know.
Whatever. No, we don't. Have you seen?
No.
We still have the survival challenge to talk about.
Oh
points.
gosh. Okay, go.
It was nice to get just a little glimpse of what life was like outside of the game.
Oh, that was Kimmy's one line at the reward challenge. I'm sorry, I'll stop talking at that point.
Thank you. Next.
That was the only thing she said the whole episode.
Shut up! Sorry for you. Hey,
Oh my
that's why I run a compressor on it afterwards.
It's gonna sound like
But you're so funny. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say about it. 2-second pause, because that's the only time, and then you start talking.
okay, quote number 5.
Yes.
You should get this one. I didn't expect it so soon. I'm backing away from the microphone as if your yelling is going to come through the microphone.
No, I just remembered something. All right, say that again.
I didn't expect it so soon.
I didn't expect it so soon.
We actually talked about this in the.
Yeah, hold on. I didn't expect it so. Joe.
Yep, that's right.
All right, so after 5, you have 3 correct.
Okay.
What do I have?
I want to say 2.
What? You need to put a little check mark beside the ones I get right.
I don't have it on paper. I have it on the laptop in front of me. You got
number 6. I'm used to getting what I want.
I would say that's Savage in the
hammock.
hammock.
Yeah, we talked about
It's
that.
a 12-minute mark with talking to. Okay, you're number 6.
That was right after he used his daily teeth whitening that Probst let him have.
Oh my goodness.
Too bad he didn't let him. Oh, shut up, Dwayne. Okay, go ahead.
Number 6. I don't agree. There's a bottom. It's just funny when you read it that way.
That would be Fishback.
You can put that anywhere, but yes, that's Fishback. I don't agree. There's a bottom.
I don't agree. There's a bottom. Well, I tell you, one of the funniest ones so far that I won't elaborate why it's funny, but I wasn't expecting that so soon. Reminds me of something quite humorous. But anyway,
go ahead, fun with these.
All right, number 7. It's all about convincing him this is the right time.
I'm going to say Sierra talking to Steven.
Yes.
Well, sometimes he puts on here when the quote was. Number 7, brilliant plan executed to perfection.
Savage.
Well done.
Number 8, it would be crazy to not vote him out. I'm putting an X by this one. Because if you get it right, you're obviously reading the chat room.
I'm going to say Steven.
Incorrect. Spencer.
Oh.
Number 8 for me.
I know they're planning a big move.
I know they're planning a big move.
Mm-hmm. I almost said this in the podcast, but I didn't because we skipped over it.
I know they're planning a big move. All right, hold on.
I can tell you exactly when it was said.
I know you can. Gosh. You're like...
Stop it. Just go on. Just go. I am not Moby Dick to your Ahab, so just keep on.
You're like the guy in the choir that I go, okay, basses, somebody's not getting it right. And you go, I got it right.
I'm pointing to the guy that didn't.
You're like, I got it right. Because that was a C, not a B flat. And that guy behind me sang a B flat. And I know it's a C.
Now, I couldn't call out letters, but I could say I got it right.
All right, please read the quote for me again.
I know they're planning a big move.
Who were they talking about? Oh. They were talking about the girls. It was either Fishback or Jeremy, or Spencer, or
go through the list.
Fishback. Okay, I know they're planning a big move. I'm going to say Fishback.
You're going to be wrong.
Who
It was Savage.
Oh,
He said he
jerk.
could see it in their eye. He can look at their
Whatever.
eyes. I'm sorry.
There you go again. Gosh.
I'm trying to help you remember. I'm sorry. I'll stop. No more. No more.
I don't believe you. You can't help it.
No
You
more.
can't help it. This is why
I
you
love
got voted
Survivor.
out of Durham's Survival Challenge, because you can't keep your mouth shut when you know something. This is why. All right, quote number 9. Get over it.
Abby.
Yeah. Don't even.
Would you like your quote number 9 now? Okay.
Yes, please.
That could ruin everything.
Fishback.
That would be correct.
Oh, good. All right. So far, after 9, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 correct. And you don't know how many I have correct because you don't.
I'm gonna say like 3 or 4.
Nice, whatever. All right. Is it? Oh, yeah. Quote number 10. He's going to make a huge move. He's going to make a huge move. He's going to make a huge move.
I'm gonna say Fishback.
No. That was Savage early, about minute 4:35. Whenever.
Oh wow.
All right, my number 10, please.
Don't drink and drive.
Hold on. Joe. It was Joe.
But who is he talking to?
He's talking to Keith.
When in the episode?
Oh, gosh.
Okay. Number 11.
Oh, and he looked like this when he said it. Don't drink and drive.
No, you got to take your shirt off. If you're gonna be like Joe. No, please.
Believe me, that is not something we want to see. I will not have the same effect on Chasha and Kelly if I take my shirt off. Quote number 11. I wanted that so bad. That was somebody talking about me taking off my shirt.
It was not. It was Fishback, but it was not. He was not talking about you taking.
I know my wife loves me because she still talks to me when I don't have my shirt on.
Amen. I'm gonna say Fishback.
That was Fishback. That's
But
correct.
I'm not gonna say when.
Hey, babe. My wife just walked in on that one.
She heard shirt off.
You still love me, right? She walked in, looked at me like, what in the heck are y'all talking about? All right. What's my number 11?
Number 11. I am scared for my life.
I am scared for my life. I have no idea who said that. All right. It wasn't Kelly. Oh, it was Sierra.
I was gonna say I told you this right before Tribal Council. Yes, it was Sierra.
All right, David, you have one question.
Mhm.
Who was the only person of the 9 to not write Wentworth on their parchment?
I knew I should have watched the voting the second time around, and I didn't.
3 points if you guess it outright. I suggest you guess Abby.
Who's the only person? Say it again.
Who was the only person of the 9?
Of the 9. Okay.
The 9 people who voted for Kelly Wentworth, who to not write Wentworth on their parchment?
I'm going to say Joe since he probably did something nice.
Okay, that is incorrect. Your choices are Keith, Kimmy, or Jeremy.
I'll guess Keith because he probably didn't know what to write.
It was Jeremy.
Oh, what did he write?
He wrote Kelly W. or Kelly Went.
Oh.
All right. My
Your
question
is how many times did someone flip a finger during the episode?
How many times did someone flip a finger?
3 points if you guess it outright, and then 1 point if you get one of the options.
Okay, hold on.
How many times did someone flip a finger during the episode?
All right. So if we're going to count, do you think he's counting previously on?
I would say yes, but I don't recall if somebody did in that one.
Well, they showed Cass flipping them off when she got voted out. So that's 1. And then she did it whenever she came in. That's 2. And then Andrew did it. So that's 3. So if we're counting previously on, 3. If we're not, 2. Or if 2's the right answer, then 2 regardless.
What is your final answer?
I'm going to say 2 then. I'll assume he's not talking about previously on.
You would be wrong. So your choices are A, 2, B, 3, C, 4.
Well, then it's 3.
That would be correct.
Okay, I think he's counting previously on. If you are, Miko.
I think if he's counting previously on, he should give you full credit because that's how you rationed it.
Right.
I agree with you on that. I cannot disagree with you.
Well, he has taken quotes from previously on before.
Yeah, and you gave the answer of 3 if you're including previously on. So if that's where it came from, then you should get all 3.
And then whenever I gave the final answer of 2, I said, I'll assume he's not talking about previously on. Well, thank you. David.
My gosh, talk about talking after an answer. Good grief.
It's so rare that I actually know something, David. Oh, man. All right, let's see.
Can we do the points real quick?
Yeah, by the way, of our remaining players, you have 4, I think. 4 remaining players. You have Kelly, Spencer, Steven, and Sierra. Their average points, okay, if you add their average per person is 90 points a person average. Okay. I have 7 left. Their average point per person is 60 or 62. Wow. So your remaining 4 players generally get a third more points than mine do every episode.
Well, you've got 3 people, Wiggs and Kimmy and Keith, that aren't, I guess, either giving good confessionals or aren't putting out any strategy, because Steven and Sierra are giving out strategy left and right.
Right.
You know, and Kelly got the idol, so she's going to get choices. Savage gave a lot of confessionals, pretty much, and then Spencer's all over the episodes.
Yeah. Well, Spencer's yours.
If we somehow pull this out, it would be pure luck on drafting. Because
well, Kelly got the most points this episode than she's ever gotten. Right? She got like 28 or something.
She tied. Her first week, she also got 28.
Yeah. She has 122 total points.
She's rocking.
Yeah, she was your first pick.
And right behind her is Andrew Savage with 102 total. He got 13 this episode.
Yeah, but he's out now, so.
He's out. Second most this episode, though, was Joe with 19 with the big immunity win.
Yes, Joe is going to get me points.
Absolutely. See, I was counting out playing if Kelly kept her idol. She would only keep it. It'd only be 1 more point per so many weeks. So playing it this week was good because she saved herself. She got me like double points for that.
By the way, I was looking, and it looks like we're getting 3 points for every episode someone has an idol.
Yeah, if you have an idol, it's like 3.
Right. If you begin the episode with the idol, you get 3 points.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now,
so I'm going to continue to get that for Jeremy. Jeremy's going to continue to give me points. Joe's definitely going to give me points, and I think Abby and Tasha. And a little bit of Keith. Well, since I think Keith and Abby are in the final, definitely.
You keep that thought, buddy. Okay. Third most points this week was Steven with 18.
Yes.
Then you got, like I said, Andrew with 13. Sierra with 12. Keith did have 11. No points for the tuk-tuk, but we might add that in next year. Let's see. There was 8 for Jeremy, 6 for Kimmy, 4 for Spencer, only 4. 4 for Wigglesworth. Well done. Only 1 for Abby Maria and only 1 for Tasha. Just for appearing. No confessionals, just for appearing in the episode.
Yeah.
And neither won the reward challenge. So
yeah. So the final score between the Nerd Herd and the Cool Cats
for this week was 75 for the Nerd Herd, only 50 for the Cool Cats.
That's right, which puts y'all ahead by 24 or by 26.
26, 634 to 608. That's still awfully
close.
Too close.
Yeah.
Especially with Joe still on your side.
Thank you, Shayna, for watching the show and logging every single point. I don't think people realize how difficult that is. Also, I mean, Miko also. I mean, talk about 2 people that really devote a lot to our show.
Yep.
And Shayna not only does that, but she's also a patron. I mean, and she's a blogger. My goodness. Mm-hmm. Next, it's going to be the DDNS show. But anyway. All right. If you want to hang around afterwards, I'm going to talk to David a little bit about something I did last night. That was awesome. Mm-hmm. But anyway, thank you for tuning in. We have the best. We absolutely love y'all. Thank you so much for listening. We really do. It's time to start buying Christmas presents. Have you bought any, David?
No.
Do you have some ideas? You know what's crazy?
What?
As I asked you a question and then don't let you answer it. all three of my boys want a PS4. The hard part of that is, David, that's about as much, if not less than or more than what we spend on them, right? It used to be when they would want a PS4, I would tell Santa, and Santa would bring one PS4, and they would all get, to play PS4. What are you doing? Why's your camera off?
I'm standing up because my legs are killing me right now.
Oh, okay. But my oldest, Nathan, is 22, lives in Troy, Alabama. My middle son, Joshua, is 18 and lives in Mobile, Alabama. And my youngest one lives at home. That means I'd have to buy 3 PS4s.
Yeah.
What the heck? So I'm thinking, okay, we early on in our life, we would give, shooting the breeze kind of starting already. We would give our kids like hundreds of presents, like there'd just be they'd open them and they'd be laying around the living room for 2 weeks. They never even touch them, and after a while, when they got older, we've decided, what, we're going to give them 3 gifts. Wise men brought 3 gifts. We're going to give them 3 gifts, well, I mean, and they were older, if you have little kids, buy them a bunch of Legos. You don't have to just buy them 3. But anyway,
Taryn talked about that because that's what we do now. Is 3 big
it's
gifts.
great. Yeah, because we talked to you about it, and we get them 3 really great gifts, and they really love them. And then Santa brings whatever he wants, right? So they get up Christmas morning, and Santa's brought all kinds of stuff, but we buy them 3 gifts each. So I was telling Joshua, I go, man, if you get a PS4, then your other 2 gifts, like here's a pair of socks. Yep. And here's an orange.
That's right.
Anyway, sorry about that. But it's time to start buying Christmas presents. David and I love Amazon. I love Amazon Prime around Christmas time. And I just want to tell you right now, if you sign up using, I think there's a link on our website. I think you can do that, or you can just go to Amazon. But, you can get Amazon Prime free for 30 days. You get free 2-day shipping. If you haven't already, give Amazon a try. You can get there from our website or our Facebook group. Speaking of our Facebook group, David, you can request to join by heading over to stwdd.com/Facebook. We are 2 members away from 800 members. And This is not a everyone can join group. You have to be accepted into the group. And the only reason why we do that is to keep eyeglass salesmen out. Those Ray-Ban people. Actually, so come on and join the Facebook group.
I added somebody during the podcast. We might be 1 short now.
No, we're still 798. Someone must have left.
Yeah.
So, which is fine. I mean, look, if you don't like the show, first of all, you're probably still not listening, but get out of the Facebook group. Go join some other Facebook group where you like people. So, let's see. Then follow us on Twitter at @SurvivorScore_talk. You could follow David, but he wouldn't know it, so why bother?
That's right.
Of course, a huge thank you to our D&D patrons who support us monthly. I think we have like 28 that do that. Between you and those who are shopping Amazon, we were able to continue doing our 2 podcasts. As you know, we do Movie Talk with D&D also. And you can become a patron by clicking on the Patreon logo on our website. Check out our website, stwdd.com, for all our episodes, and read our bloggers. Katya's going to stop blogging for the rest of the season, just some personal issues. If you are a praying type of person, I encourage you to pray for her. She's just going through some tough stuff, so I just want you to pray for her. And if you're a send a thought her way type of person, then send your thoughts her way. All right. While you're there, check out our other podcast, Movie Talk with D&D. Any final words, David?
Great episode, and I'm gonna go online and start explaining that chart. Mega Ken's already been putting some questions on there in comments, so go on there, look at my chart, and maybe it'll make sense now when you look at it. But I'll throw some more comments up there.
Yeah, I'm encouraging the comments, David.
It's not perfection; it's just something that came up from an initial reaction. It's to start the conversation for the rest of the week.
Oh, man. Also, thanks to Mark Percy, who does our graphic for our Facebook group, so that people on our Facebook group are not spoiled during the episode. And through Thursday mornings, 9 a.m. Eastern time, we have a specific thread that is for spoiler talk of the episode, and the rest of the group is spoiler free.
Yep.
So I did have to delete one comment last night. I was just about to get it off Facebook, and someone posted, "Does someone have Andrew Savage's Ponderosa video?" And I deleted it quite quickly.
I saw your comment of asking for Blank's Ponderosa
Yes.
video is a spoiler. Please be careful.
Just in case you weren't sure. It wasn't a spoiler to everybody, but most everybody is smart enough to figure that out.
So we do need to talk though what we're going to do in 2 weeks. It's a double episode.
Gosh, Thanksgiving, double episode on the eve of Thanksgiving. I'm going to be at my parents' house.
Wednesday?
I mean, I know I've recorded that there before, but
I can't record Thursday because I'm driving all day.
oh no, we would have to record on Wednesday night right after the show. I mean, do we want to do that? Friday's my last night there. I'm driving home all day Saturday.
Okay. Unless we get something Sunday to give people a chance to write in because it's 2 hours. Let's talk about it.
You know what? Sunday night might be a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Although then they don't have something to listen to on their way home.
That's true. Well, we could do a quick recap Wednesday night and then do a feedback on Sunday just for that weekend. I don't know. We'll talk about it.
That actually might be a good idea. You and I just get on to a quick recap and do a feedback show on Sunday.
Right.
I think you just said that.
That's a good idea.
Well, we'll let y'all know whenever we figure it out.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thanks again for listening. That's all we've got. See ya.
See ya.
And now for a little shooting the breeze.
Mm-hmm.
So, David, as you know, a week and a half ago, I had been having chest pain and discomfort for a while.
Yep.
And the 2 weeks prior to that, and the week prior to that, like center of the chest, somebody's sitting on me type of pain.
Mm-hmm.
And I should have gone to the doctor like on Thursday. This is horrible. I should have went on Wednesday, but I knew I had Survivor to watch. I should have went. I'm sitting here like dying of chest pain, literally thinking I'm dying, thinking I'm going to have a heart attack any day. And Thursday comes around. I'm like, I really should go see the doctor, but he might make me. But I have a podcast to do, and I don't want to miss the podcast. I don't want to miss the podcast. This is so horrible. And so then Friday is my day off. So I get up Friday. I spend all that Friday. Oh, no, I don't. That's the next Friday. So Friday morning, I'm hurting, and I want to go to the doctor, but I'm driving to Troy that night to see my son in a concert.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And so I'm like, gosh, I could die on the way to Troy, but I'm probably not going to. So I'll just wait till Monday, right? Saturday morning, I wake up, I'm in pain again. And I'm like, Connie, I think I need to go to the doctor. I think I need to go to the ER. And she's like, really? Because if we would have went yesterday, it would have been $35. Now it's $200. Are you sure your chest hurts? Because,
because if it doesn't, it's going to when I get here.
Yeah, you better have something wrong with you. So, So I'm like, okay, maybe I won't go. I start doubting whether I should go. Meanwhile, my chest is hurting. But then it stops hurting. But then I go to clean the bathroom and it starts to hurt again. So we go ahead and go. All right. Long story short, did an EKG. I haven't. This is what I thought. My dad had very similar chest pain for 2 weeks before his second heart attack. All right. So his first heart attack was around 52, 54, and I'm 46. His second heart attack was around 64. Maybe a little younger than that. And he had this chest pain. So my dad was like, you have a blockage. You have a blockage. You, Dwayne, have a blockage. Why aren't they fixing your blockage right now? And I'm like, Dad, I'm in Athens, Alabama. They don't fix blockages on Saturdays. They wait till Sunday.
That's not a weekend job. They contracted out from.
I'm like, Dad, they want to do a stress test. They don't want to just go do a cath. They could have sent me to the cath lab, but they didn't think I had a blockage. All right. They just were checking. Anyway, so I had not had a heart attack, but they decided to keep me over. All right. They actually kind of fooled me. They told me Saturday night that I could leave early enough Sunday morning so I could go lead worship. Because I hate missing Sunday mornings. Favorite thing in the world is to lead worship. And so, but Sunday morning comes around and the doctor comes in and goes, yeah, we're going to hold you over till tomorrow. We want to do a stress test. Now we can't make you stay, but I was like, Yeah, y'all planned that the whole time, didn't you? Yeah, we kind of did. So anyway, because we knew you wouldn't stay if we don't,
Yeah.
So anyway, long story short, Monday, I've already said that once or twice.
Yes.
Monday, I do the whole nuclear stress test. I have absolutely zero blockage in any arteries in my heart. My heart is in great health. Everything's great. I was on the treadmill for like 9.5, 10 minutes on the test. Now I was dying. I mean, I walk up a flight of stairs and I, but anyway, so there's absolutely nothing wrong. So I get home and, I've been talking to my mom and dad. My dad's like, oh yeah, well, I wasn't sure if it was a block, but my mom told me, she goes, Dwayne, it might be acid reflux. And I said, really? Why do you say that? Well, my mom used to have acid reflux so badly that she thought she was having heart attacks all the time.
Yeah.
And I also have acid reflux. And I thought, and you didn't bother to tell me this in the last 46 years? Instead of me telling the doctor all the heart problems on my dad's side, I could have said, yeah, I tried Prilosec. I wouldn't have even gone. I would have tried Prilosec for 2 weeks. Well, anyway, so I go home and I start taking Prilosec. About 4 days after I start taking it, I start not hurting as much. The last 2 days, I haven't had any pain at all. None at all. Now, the day after I got home from the hospital, I hurt so bad, I left work and went home and went to bed.
Yeah.
But anyway, so praise the Lord. It wasn't my heart, and I thank all of y'all who were thinking about me.
So this isn't so much shooting the breeze. This is medical talk because I also went to the doctor this week, finally.
Oh, well, then I'll continue my story in a minute. Go ahead.
You got more? I mean, I can wait for you to finish yours.
Okay, I'll finish mine.
Oh,
so while I was in there, one of the things they thought was, you're not getting enough oxygen in your blood. Do you wake up a lot at night? And I said, do elephants have big ears? Like they would come in, of course, they're monitoring my heart all night long, right? Yeah. They would come in the morning at 6:30 to do tests and stuff. And they'd say, how many times did you go to the bathroom last night? And I said, I lost count. Right. So, I don't know, 6 or 7, maybe. I don't know. It's pretty normal. I go to the bathroom all the time. And what they told me was I also have low oxygen in my blood, like a 93%, and they wanted it up to 97 or something. And they said, do you have sleep apnea? And I said, about 10 years ago, I did a test, and yeah, I had sleep apnea, but I hated wearing my sleep apnea machine because it kind of took a lot of the romance out of the bedroom, right? Which it doesn't really, because your wife loves you even when you're wearing an elephant mask, right? Yes. So
late night shooting the breeze with you.
Now, she doesn't love you while you're wearing an elephant mask, but she loves you even though you are seen wearing an elephant mask.
She loves you wearing it because it makes your life extend.
Yes, but she doesn't love you while you're wearing it. Yes. So anyway, he goes, well, you need to go sleep apnea test and all this kind of stuff. So I go to the doctor. They set me up a test. I mean, they set me up just a consult. I paid $50 for a visit where the nurse talked to me more than the doctor. The doctor says, do you have sleep apnea? I said, yeah, I've had it for about 10 years. I just don't do the thing anymore. He goes, oh, okay, well, we'll schedule a sleep study. It's like, really? We could have done that without me paying you $50.
Oh, yeah.
Well, then I got to check on my insurance, and without going into all the details, it cost me a small fortune to, number one, get a sleep study, and number two, get a new machine.
Yeah.
I have a perfectly good machine sitting in my closet, right? And I weigh as much as I did 10 years ago whenever I had sleep apnea. Yeah. So last night I got the machine out, stuck it on my nose. I got the kind with the little nose things, goes over my head like this, and just a little thing goes like this. Yes. I made sure Connie was asleep first. Put it on. I slept. I did wake up like twice. Because that's one thing that I remember is that whenever I would wear my CPAP machine, I wouldn't get up and go to the bathroom in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
So what's happening was I was sleeping so lightly that just the slightest need and I would get up and go, but now, like last night, I got up once, and that's just because I was already up. So I might as well. Right. So I don't have to go later. But today, for the first time in like 6 years, I wasn't sleepy today. I was awake. It was amazing.
Welcome to CPAP world.
Oh my gosh. I don't care if I look like an elephant with the trunk going over my head. I wasn't sleepy today. It was great. And my chest didn't hurt. That was great. Now, if I would just exercise and eat right, I'd be a dapper man.
I would love to say I told you so, but I probably haven't pushed you enough to get back into your CPAP machine.
No, I forgot I had it. It's like a
But,
$600 machine or something. All right, David, tell me what happened with you.
My insurance is good. I love my CPAP machine. I wish I'd had it in Maine. But anyway, so my knee.
So do the people who slept around.
I know. Yes, Dr. Jill made that very clear. She goes, yeah, you do have it. But at the middle of September, my knee started bothering me. Just started hurting me at different times. One of those things where you get up and starts hurting and stuff. And me, like an idiot, didn't bother going to the doctor until around the end of October. And I just couldn't get past it. It's starting to scare me into thinking it's something worse than it is. It felt like my ACL or my MCL was getting ready to pop at any time.
Oh, wow.
Burn on the outside, burn on the kneecap. Then it started burning into my thigh. And I said, this is obviously not right. So me and a coworker were talking back. I said, did I talk about my knee hurting after I got back from Maine? He goes, no, it was like middle of September. He said, it was like 2 weeks after that. So I don't know if you did it then. I said, okay. So I go to the doctor and he goes, so what's up? Now my doctor is, I think I've said this before. He's like 5 years younger than me, skinny guy. We're the opposites. He's skinny. I'm not. But we have the best time when we talk because we crack each other up. And he said, what's up? I said, well, I'm really embarrassed to be here because there are people with much greater problems than me. I said, and you're probably not even going to make my knee hurt when you check it, but my knee hurts when I walk and when I get up from the desk. And this kind of, and he starts smiling. He goes, okay. He goes, well, thank you for wearing shorts. He said, you'd never believe how many people come in here in skinny jeans and tell me that they got problems with their legs.
You're like, skinny jeans on me?
Yeah. I said, well, the last time I wore pants, we had a different appointment and I'm not going, and he had to stop washing his hands. He was laughing so hard. So we compete with each other to crack each other up. But anyway, so he does the examination. He can't make it hurt, but I explained to him why it hurts when it hurts, stuff like this. And he goes, all right, it's one of two things. It's either arthritis. I said, no, I'm not. I said, I'm not that old, but it could be. But he said, or it's tendonitis. I said, all right, tell me again what tendonitis is. Cause Bailey's been telling me this too, my athletic trainer daughter. And he said, it's inflamed tendons. You know, it could go up your thigh, it can be around your knee, all that kind of stuff. I said, well, he said, have you done anything overly strenuous in the past few months? I said, as a matter of fact, I said, I went to Maine in August. And he said, now I thought you were conditioning for that. Cause he and I, we'd met before I started working out again. And I said, I wasn't religious about it.
Kind of conditioning.
But I was kind of mentally conditioning and some physically.
Hey, I did 100 sit-ups in my head
and about 1,000 push-ups. So he said, tendonitis though usually takes about 2 weeks to kick in. So he said, I don't know. I said, hold on. I said, really? 2 weeks? Is that exactly right?
Wow.
Because my coworker and I figured it out that it was 2 weeks after Maine that I started complaining about my knee hurting.
Wow.
He said, oh, well then, yeah, it was Maine. He says, you inflamed your tendons when you went there. And I said, well, I'd love to blame it on the challenges. I said, my body's been challenged for the past few years carrying around me. So that's probably what did it. He said, yeah, that's probably what it is. He said, I'm 99% sure it's that. He said, so you're going to take this anti-inflammatory stuff and ice it twice a day for 3 weeks. And if it still hurts, we'll get an x-ray. But otherwise, I'm pretty positive it's tendonitis. So that's what I was saying earlier this week that I lost my canteen in Maine. I left my shoes in Bob and Peggy's trash can because they weren't worth bringing home. But I did bring home tendonitis and it kicked off in about 2 weeks. He said, yeah, it takes about 2 weeks for it to kick in. I said, you're kidding. That's exactly when it hurts.
So is this like something that will go away, or I mean, like
it should go away. I'm treating it twice a day and I'm taking medication twice a day. He says it should go away in about 3 weeks, but I have a feeling it's going to be one of those things that until I drop more, that it's going to keep coming back. So, but I'm still exercising like I was before I went to Maine. In fact, being in Maine inspired me to do more. So I'm still keeping up a regular routine of walking and stuff and getting on the treadmill. And
well, you need to hold me accountable to do that because I'm not doing it at all, and I need to.
Absolutely.
Okay, well then
you had me a little nervous last weekend. So texting me and sending me pictures from your hospital bed. But dude, when I took my sleep apnea test, you're supposed to. They told me you take the test one night, you come back a week later, and you wear the machine that night. So the first night's no machine, second night's the machine.
Right.
Halfway through the first night, honey, go ahead and wake up. I said, ma'am. She goes, you're gonna put the machine on now. She goes, you got it good. Yeah. So she put it on. I slept.
We don't want you dying in here tonight.
No, we don't. We don't have the ER's downstairs. We can't get you fast enough.
I went and bought the most powerful machine we got, and it's ready.
Yeah, you're a big boy. I'm not sure if I can get you downstairs. So 5 hours of sleeping with that machine, and had the best night's sleep I'd had in years.
Yeah, isn't it cool?
Yes, I wear mine religiously. The only time I haven't worn it in the past 6 or 8 years was in Maine. The 3 nights I slept in Maine, I did not have it those nights.
Yeah. Mine has this like humidifier thing on it.
So mine has the option of that. Yeah.
And it, by the way, mine's like up to level 9. I don't know, but man, when you take it off, you could like it. I tell you what's funny. Yeah. And since mine doesn't cover like my whole face, it just like has these 2 little suction cups that goes on the nose.
Yeah.
If I open my mouth, it's like
Oh yeah.
But what was really cool last night, well, it wasn't really cool. I can't really sleep on my left side because the way these CPAP machines work is they have like if you put your hand right in front of your face, it's blowing out air really fast. Yes. Because whenever you breathe, you breathe out, it has to have place for that air to go. But it's constant. So I'm laying on my side, and all of a sudden Connie like takes the covers and puts it over her head, because my CPAP machine is blowing cold air onto the back of her head. So I thought, well, crud.
See, that's one thing. I don't sleep towards Tara. I sleep the other way or on my back. And that machine will make you relearn how to sleep breathing through your nose.
Oh yeah.
You have to. But her problem is it got too quiet. She's not used to the silence when we go to sleep. So the noise is what usually kept her. Yeah, allowed her to go to sleep, and then when I'd stop breathing, that's when she'd wake up. She could tell when it got too quiet. So the first week or so, it was like, it's too quiet. I need some noise in here because now I can't fall asleep.
Well, I could die and you could have noise, or I could survive the night and you turn on a fan or something.
Yeah, she can tell when the mask is off because she hears the airplane going by.
Yeah,
so she'll let me tell.
Yeah. Wow, 2.5 hours. It was fun though.
That was a great episode to talk about.
We do have to figure out what our next, our next movie talk episode needs to be a movie that you and I both really like. We've both seen, and we want to see again.
Well, like I said, we just saw Jurassic World. Good movie until the end. Then it got epic. I love the end of the movie.
Well, it's kind of a cheesy ending, though.
Well, it was still good. I still accepted it for a new Jurassic World reboot.
Yeah, but I'm thinking really like something from.
Older?
From something older. Okay. I don't know.
I might see Spectre on Tuesday. I don't know yet.
Yeah. But like, I mean, our Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. I mean, is it Rogue? Yeah, Rogue Nation. People aren't watching it because I don't know why. I guess maybe is it out on Blu-ray yet?
Yeah. It's been out for a while.
Well, anyway, we do that and we did anyway. Summersby's got more than anything. Go figure.
Now that you mentioned, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
If it's out on Blu-ray. Summersby's got a lot of people listening to Summersby.
Well, compared to the other ones, yeah.
And we got to get our wires back on.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. All right, everybody. Thanks for listening to Shooting the Breeze.
Yep.
It's been fun.
As always.
Bye.
See ya.